A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Mark, I got you down for 2 tickets.
2?
Yes, you and Neil.
Well, I don't know if Neil can get off that night, Jane.
No excuses now. I mean business. This has gone far enough. I've got 50 tickets to sell, and I'm going to sell them, or I'll know the reason why.
Why?
Why? Because you're all coming to see me act in this play. Dear, I've also got you down.
You said it. This whole thing's got me down.
You're going to buy 4.
4?
Yes, you'll take Betty, Carl, and Mr. Ness.
Oh, I see.
4 and 2 is 6. I've got Laura down for 1. That's 7.
Laura?
Thanks for getting $3 out of Laura.
Listen, Jane, why do you insist on selling these tickets around here? If you feel that you have to sell them, why don't you go out and canvass the neighborhood?
Listen, dear, isn't this for charity?
Yes.
Well, doesn't charity begin at home?
Oh, charity begins at home, I see.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah.
And I better tell Laura right away. I wonder if she's gone home yet. Laura? Have you gone home yet? Well, I want to see you before you go.
Yes, I'll be right in.
Now, dear, no wisecracks in front of her. Let me handle it.
Yes, yes.
But, Jane, you could expect Laura to hand out $3. That's a young fortune for her.
I know, but it's for charity, isn't it? And besides, she gets to see me act in this play.
Well, now, I don't think that's very charitable on your part, Jane.
What?
Well, I mean, making her see you act in that play, is that charitable now?
Are you going to start that again? Honestly, dear, sometimes...
Yes.
Well, sometimes you act just like my mother used to when I was in that high school play. She acted just like you. She tried to make me drop out of it, but my mind was made up.
Oh, mind over mother,
What?
I'm sorry, Marge.
Did you want to see me about something, ma'am?
Oh, yes. Well, come in, Laura.
Yes, ma'am.
Laura, you know about the hospitals there are in this town, don't you?
Hospitals?
Yes, you know all the hospitals they have here.
Was the dinner good, ma'am?
What?
Did somebody say?
Oh, please, Marge, I'm trying to explain something to her. Laura, nobody is sick.
Oh, that's nice, ma'am.
Well, nobody here is sick, but there are sick people in hospitals. You know that, don't you?
Well, not personally.
Well, I'm not getting personal. Just listen to what I have to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, did you ever hear of a drive for a hospital?
In an ambulance?
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
Dear, please. No, Laura. I mean, the hospitals need money. So how do they get it? Well, we're putting on a play. And the money they charge for people to come and see the play is given to the hospitals, you see?
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's nice.
Yes, so I have these tickets to sell, and I want you to buy one. It's for charity.
Oh, like a raffle or something.
Raffle?
I'll take a chance, ma'am.
You don't take a chance. I'm going to be in this play.
Yes, Mrs. Ace takes the chance.
Yes, I take... No, I don't. Oh, what are you telling her, dear? Will you two please leave the room?
Not me. I wouldn't do this for the world.
Well, come back in the kitchen, Laura. I'll explain it in words of one cylinder. Come
No,
on.
Jane, don't do that. Finish it in here.
Well, you two keep
Maybe
interrupting.
I can help you.
Yes,
Laura, Mrs. Ace wants you to buy a ticket to see her in this play. The money goes for charity.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'd love to see you in a play, ma'am.
You would? Well, all right. Here's your ticket.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
That's $3.
Yes, ma'am. $3, ma'am.
Yes, only $3.
Well, I'm rather sit upstairs, ma'am.
Upstairs?
Yes, ma'am. Something for about a
A
quarter.
quarter? All the seats are $3.
Oh, well, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I haven't got $3.
Well, you're going to have, aren't you?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Well, you can pay me then. When will you have it?
Well, My Social Security doesn't start until...
I don't think she's got the money to spare, Jane.
No, not right now, ma'am. I need every cent I make just to live on.
But you said you could take a seat for a quarter.
Well, for a quarter, yes, ma'am, I could do that.
Well, if you can afford a quarter, well, can't you pay me a quarter a week until you pay for the whole thing?
Well, no, ma'am, I don't think I could.
But you said you could afford a quarter.
Well, ma'am, I thought if I cut out the beauty shop 1 week, but for all those weeks, the beauty shop.
Look, Jane, you better not bother her. She can't buy a ticket.
Oh, but I want her to see me in this play.
Oh, I'd like to see you, ma'am. Now, if they had seats in the balcony...
All the seats are $3. What kind of a play do you think this is, acting for a quarter? Whoever heard of that?
Well, ma'am, I can see 2 pictures and Mickey Mouse and get some groceries for 15 cents.
Oh, that kind of acting.
Look, Laura, I'll tell you what. Just forget about it. Maybe we can fix up a way to get you in to see Mrs. Fairfax when the time comes.
On a pass, you mean, Miss Marge?
A pass?
Yes, ma'am. You ought to be able to get me a pass if you're going to be in the play.
Oh, well, maybe I can. I never thought of that.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
You're what? Well, I don't know yet. I'll ask Mrs. Burnside. That's all, Laura. You can go now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Laura.
Well, I guess I better get her a pass. I'll make a note of that. I want her to see me. I guess I ought to treat her as that.
Yeah, so do you think that's treating her fairly?
What? Oh, now that has all the earmarks of a dirty dig, and I'm not going to be the ghost around here anymore.
Oh, not even Hamlet's ghost?
No, nobody. Every time I start something, I get killed all the time, and I don't like it. Now, look, you two. You pay attention too, Marge.
Oh, yes, teacher.
Now, if you two... Teacher. Oh, Marge, you're so exalted. Well, now, I'm not joking around. I'm serious about this. And I'm going to be very busy because between selling tickets for the play and acting in the play, I won't know if I'm going on horseback. So if you two will just please stop making fun of everything I do.
I'm not making
Oh,
fun.
Jane, we're not making fun of it.
Well, I don't care to hear any more about it. Every time I mention that I'm going to act, I can see the tone in his eye when he says something about
And
it.
you can see the tone in my eye.
Yes, just like you just now said, treating her fairly. I know what it is. I can see what you're driving at. You think I can't act.
No.
Yes, you do. Well, you just wait and see.
Yes, we'll all wait, Jane. What sort of a play is it?
Well, I don't know yet. First, I have to sell these tickets, and then the rehearsal starts.
Well, do you know what sort of a part you're going to play?
No, they didn't tell me, but I told them the kind of parts I play best. In sport clothes, I told them.
In sport clothes?
Yes?
All right, don't be so defiant about it.
Well, I'm just waiting for you to make one wise crack about that.
Oh, I won't, Jane.
Well, all right.
I think sport clothes will be fine for you.
Well, all right.
I think a tracksuit, running clothes, you know, for a quick getaway, I think.
Oh, now there he goes again. That's what I mean. Now, this is the last time. Either you don't mention the play again or just don't talk to me.
All right, Jane, I won't mention the play again.
All right. Let's change the subject.
Yeah.
Right. Change the subject before this gets serious.
Well, that suits me. Jane, I hate to complain, but do you know that we've had the same soup for dinner 2 nights in a row?
Yes, Jane, we had tomato soup twice this week.
Oh, yes, I meant to tell Laura about
I
that.
don't like to complain, Jane.
Oh, well, I don't mind, dear. I even like complaints about the dinner better than what you've been saying.
Well, then I want to register my complaint. I think tomato soup twice in a row deserves a complaint, especially since we're going to have so much of it later on.
What do you mean later on?
Well, I mean next month or so.
Who said we're going to have so much soup for tomato soup next month?
Well, I imagine we will. We'll have to do something with them.
Something with what?
With tomatoes.
Uh-oh.
What tomatoes?
The tomatoes they're going to throw at the play.
Oh, no,
Now there. No, there. I told you about that.
She's right. You shouldn't discourage her that way.
Oh, I'm not discouraged, Marge. Things like that don't discourage me. They just bounce off of me.
Well, not an overly ripe one wouldn't.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, let him go on talking. It just goes in one ear.
Well, in the ear isn't so bad. It's when they splatter in the eyes. And,
Oh, well, wait till he sees me in the play, then the laugh will be on the other foot.
Oh, do I have to go to the play, Jane?
You have ask you, do you mean to say that you're not going to buy these 4 tickets to see me act?
Well, I'd rather not, because why should I watch you make a spectacle of yourself trying to act?
Well, I'm just unspeakable. My own husband.
Oh, he doesn't mean it, Jane.
Oh, yes, he does. He's never even seen me act, but he just knows I can.
Well, I have a sort of a hunch.
There, see? He just knows I can. Oh, this is the last straw. All my life I've waited for this chance just to prove it to him. Nobody else, just to him that I can act.
Oh, now, Jane.
Because what do I care what other people say? I just want him to see me, and he says he won't come.
Oh, I didn't know you felt so keenly about it, Jane. Honestly, now, wait a minute. Don't carry on like that.
No, it's too late now.
Oh, please, Jane. If you've got your heart set on it like this, why, sure, I'll buy the ticket.
No,
honestly, I will, Jane. Here, I'll give you the cash for him now.
My own husband treats me
Here,
like this.
Jane, here, take it. I was only. Here's $12 for the ticket. There. Now, does this prove it?
Well, thanks. There. Now, is that acting or not?
What? You mean to say that you were only...
And for an encore, I'm going to work on you next, Mark.
Jane proved she can act. Now, if she can get herself a part in the play, as well as get rid of the rest of the ticket, well, she has her hands full, as we learn when next we meet the Easy 8.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. A hold-up man has been hitting the banks in your city. After 2 months of following down leads, you get a possible identification. Your job? Check it out.
It was Thursday, July 25th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out a robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith, the boss of Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:42 a.m. when we got to 896 Duane Street. Front door. I'll get it again. Guess there's nobody home.
Yeah.
You see in that window?
No, can't see anybody moving around in there.
Now, let's try the back.
Right.
On this way.
Uh-huh. Hey, sure pretty, isn't it, Joe?
What's that?
Rose tree there, Bella Portugal. Sure pretty.
What?
Faye's got one started out by the back fence. Isn't that big, but we got roses on it already.
What'd you call it?
Oh, those Bella Portugal rose trees.
Oh.
I'll pick a couple for you. Bring them in the office.
Thanks, Frank. I don't know what I'd do with them, do you?
Well, you can give them to Ann. She'd like them.
Yeah. I get it.
See anybody?
No, looks like there's someone on the lawn chair over there, doesn't it?
Miss Clark?
Yes, who is it?
Yeah, come on. You Miss Viola Clark?
That's right.
Police officers, Miss Clark. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Well, how do you do?
How you doing, ma'am?
What can I do for you?
We'd like to ask you a few questions.
About Louis?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, would you mind talking inside? I'd rather the neighbors didn't know all my business.
All right, fine.
We can talk in there without anybody hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure a beautiful morning. Hot.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning a little trip down to the desert this weekend. Get some rest and a little sun.
Yes, ma'am.
Trying to get a tan before then.
Mm-hmm.
Look, one.
Thank you.
Just go on through the kitchen. We can talk in the dining room.
All right, thank you.
I just feel funny going to a place where there's a swimming pool and sitting there without a tan, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I do anyway. Makes me feel self-conscious like.
I see, ma'am.
Well, just go on in and sit down. I'll get us something cold to drink.
No, that's all right, Miss Clark. Thank you.
Oh, how about you, Mr. Smith?
No, ma'am.
Well, I'm going to have something. Bill, that's my husband, brought me a case of that new kind of drink, you know, without any calories.
Yes, ma'am.
All kinds of flavors, supposed to be for people who are supposed to reduce. Of course, I don't really need it, just that Bill bought it and all.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down.
Thank you.
Now, what was it about Louis?
He's your brother, is that right?
Well, yes, actually, he's my half-brother. You see, his father died and our mother remarried.
I see.
He's my half-brother.
When did you see him last?
Oh, let's see. I guess it was before the trouble. I'd make it about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. You heard anything from him since?
Oh, a couple of times. Different people have told me they saw Louis. He always sent his best.
But you haven't talked to him, huh?
Well, no, not in 10 years. Would you excuse me a minute? I forgot the bottle opener.
Yes, ma'am.
when Louis got into trouble, we sort of stopped seeing each other. I tried to write to him when he was in prison, little talky-talk letter, but they just seemed to separate us more.
What was that again, ma'am? I didn't hear you.
I said that I tried to write to him when he was in prison. Sort of a talky-talk letter, but, well, they just seemed to separate us more.
I see. Did you see him when he was in prison?
Oh, no, it was during the war, and I was pretty busy with other things.
Uh-huh.
Bill, my husband, was overseas, and I was writing to him, sending him little things. Just never seemed to get around to seeing Louis. I thought about it, but just never quite seemed to get to it. It's a new flavor. Pineapple pie. Kind of tangy. You sure you don't want any?
No, thank you.
Oh, that's good. I've got some little crackers, low calorie. Would you like some of them?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Well, when Louis got out of jail, I heard he went back east, Salt Lake, I think. Got a job with a paint store back there.
Mm-hmm.
Did pretty good. Something happened, though. He quit or got fired or something. Anyway, he came out here again.
Do you have any idea where your brother might be staying?
No. Last I heard, it was in some furnished room down on Pico.
Would you have the address?
I'm afraid not.
Do you have any idea where we might be able to get it?
Not the least.
Uh-huh.
What's he done this time?
Well, it'll be better if we talk to him about it, ma'am.
Well, it seems to me I'm his sister. You should be able to tell me. I'm certainly going to cooperate with you.
I think it'd be better if we talk to him, though.
If that's the way you're going to handle it, there's not much I can do.
Did your brother have any hobbies? Anything that he might try to work at?
No, not that I can remember. Well, when he was a kid, I think he used to collect stamps, but then I guess every boy does that. Mostly, though, he used to read a lot, always had his nose in a book.
Mm-hmm.
Had a big collection of those books you could buy in the 5 and dime. You know, the little thick ones.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
I guess he had just about every one that was ever published. There was a big thing with the kids in the neighborhood. Well, Louis had about 100, all different stories. He built a case for them out in the garage out of apple boxes. I remember that, out in the garage.
Yes, ma'am.
Had a library going, little cards and everything. Charged the kids 2 cents to read the book. Real going business.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was a funny kid. Always trying to figure out how to get somebody else to do the work for him. He'd say that if he had his way, he'd get what he wanted without really working for it. Wonder if being in jail made him change. If he still feels like that.
What's that?
That he can live the easy way.
He's still trying. "11:31 a.m. We left the house and continued checking out the friends and relatives of the suspect, Louis Rote. According to his book, he'd been arrested for the first time 10 years previously on charges of 459 burglary, 5 counts. He'd been sentenced to San Quentin. He'd been released 4 years previously. On June 11th, he walked into a bank at the corner of Reservoir and Montana Streets and robbed the place of $1,180. He'd hit again on June 19th, July 12th, and July 23rd. In each instance, the victims were shown mug books, but they were unable to make a positive identification. On July 24th, we talked to a cab driver who had driven the suspect away from the latest holdup. He was able to give us an identification of the suspect, but when we checked the area where Rote had left the cab, we were unable to come up with additional information. The other victims were shown Rote's picture, and all of them made a positive identification. Locals and APBs were gotten out on him, and all places he was known to frequent were checked. Still, we couldn't take him into custody. 2 days passed while we looked for the suspect. On Friday, July 26th, the bank located on Hollywood Boulevard was held up for $1,800. The suspect matched the description of Rote. From one of the people in the vicinity, we got the number of the cab the suspect was supposed to have taken. We got in touch with the traffic manager of the cab company and got the name and stand number of the driver. 9:20 p.m. Frank and I drove out to see him.
Corner of Hollywood and Loma Linda?
That's right.
Bank near there.
What time was it supposed to be?
Well, the way we got it, about 5.
Tonight?
That's right.
I don't recall the guy. You sure it was me?
Well, we got the number of your cab.
Oh, you're pretty busy there. Let me check the wave, though.
All right.
Let's take a look here. Yeah, here it is. Loma and Hollywood.
Where'd you drop the fare off?
2000 block on Sunset.
That'd be near Echo Park?
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about the man?
No, like I told you, I've been pretty busy tonight.
Well, it's pretty important.
Well, what kind of things you want to know?
Well, what did he say to you when he got into the cab?
Oh, not much. Seems to me he just told me to drive right down Sunset, and then he'd tell me where to let him out.
Was there anything about him that stood out? An accent, maybe? Scar, birthmark, anything like that?
No, it doesn't seem to me that there was. I could only get a glimpse of him in the rearview mirror. He was kind of sitting off to one side. Kind of hard to see.
You don't remember anything about him, then, huh?
No, nothing to help.
Did you say where he was going?
Well, not that I remember. Just told me to drive right down Sunset until he told me to stop.
When he got out of the cab, did you see where he went?
I didn't notice. He said something about getting a drink and asked me if I could name a good bar for him.
Did you?
I couldn't. I don't know the neighborhood very well. I told him they were all probably pretty good.
Did he seem drunk to you?
Well, he had more than a couple. I can't tell you how many. You know, some guys can hold more than those without showing it.
Yeah.
Well, he was like that. Hard to tell how many he'd lifted.
Uh-huh.
Say, something might help. I just thought of it.
Yeah, what's that?
He had a kind of a mole on his face right by his mouth.
On which side, do you remember?
Well, let me think now. I was looking at him in the mirror. It was on his left side. The mirror shows things on the side that... Yeah, it'd be on his left side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always get mixed up like that. You know, when you look in the mirror, if you got something on the right side of your face, it's on the left side of the mirror.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at him, so it'd be on the same side as I saw it. Yes, sir, it was the left side.
Where was the mole?
Right here, right by the upper lip. Not real big so you'd notice it right off. Yeah, I forgot about it until just now.
And when he paid the cab bill, what did you use?
You mean the size bill he gave me?
Yeah.
A 20. I think I got it right here. Real new. Yeah, here it is. He had a whole fistful of those, just like this, all brand new.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him if he was going on a trip. You know, people draw a lot of money out when they're going to take a trip. I figured maybe that's what he was going to do.
What did he say?
Well, he said he wasn't. He said he just made a withdrawal from the bank, but he said he wasn't going away.
Well, he's wrong there.
Huh?
As soon as we find him, he is. The cab driver identified Rote's mugshot, and at 10:08 p.m., Frank and I drove over to the 2000 block on Sunset Boulevard. We checked at several bars, but we were unable to find the suspect. One of the bartenders said he thought that a man answering Rote's description might have been in, but he couldn't be sure. In each of the places, we left our card, and we asked the owner or the bartender to notify us if the suspect should come in. 12:26 a.m., Frank and I checked back into the office. You want to check the book? I'll sign us out.
All right. Anything?
Yeah, we got a message here from Faye.
Yeah?
She wants you to stop by the drugstore and pick up a refill prescription for the baby. Oh, it says she's already called him. You just have to pick it up.
Oh. Well, that blows the coffee.
Well, I ought to get home anyway. I'd like to get a good night's sleep.
All right. See you in the morning, old buddy.
All right. You going to have breakfast at home?
Oh, I don't know. Faye was up half the night with the kids. Might be better if I'd let her sleep.
Well, why don't you meet me at that dairy place?
Good deal. About 7, huh?
That'll be fine with me.
All right.
Go on ahead. I'll get the lights. No, hold on. I'll get it. Robbery Friday. Yes, sir? No, sir. We're the ones. How long ago was that? I see. Right away.
What do you got?
Bar out on Sunset.
Yeah?
Suspect's there now, tearing the place up. We left the city hall and we drove over to the bar on Sunset Boulevard. By the time we'd gotten there, a police unit had arrived and the disturbance was under control. The suspect had left the scene and a broadcast was put out to all cars in the area carrying his description and the description of the clothing he was wearing. When we walked into the bar, the bartender was sitting at one of the tables in the back of the place holding a stake to his left eye. The place itself was a mess. Bar stools were scattered over the floor, tables were upended. The back bar was smashed and the mirror that ran along the length of the bar itself was broken. Frank and I checked with the officers from the unit, and then we went back to talk to the bartender.
Why didn't you guys tell me about it?
Sir?
Why didn't you tell me who he was? I didn't know. Look at this place. Look what he did.
What started the fight?
I don't know.
Did you recognize him when he came in?
No, right off. He sat down, ordered a drink. Next thing I know, the place is coming down around me.
And when did you know he was the man we were looking for?
After he belted the fella next to him, that's when I knew. Called you right away. You should have told me he was rough. You should have told me.
We told you not to try to take him yourself.
But you didn't make a point of it. I just thought it was something you told everybody.
Can you tell us what he said when he came in?
We were having a nice night. Pretty good business. Sitting there watching the fights on the television. Nice and quiet. Pouring good. Looked like a good night for the two.
Yeah.
Door swings open and in comes this guy. I didn't pay any attention to him. Walked over and sat at the bar. Right there in the middle. Sat at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Ordered a highball. You had a couple. I should have known right then. I'd been in this business any time at all. You should be able to spot the ones that are likely to cause trouble.
What did he ask for in the drink?
Bourbon and ginger. I mixed it, collected for it, and then went back to watching the fight. I had a little bet on it. I always take the white corner with one of the regulars, you know, a couple of bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing there watching the fight. All of a sudden, there's one going on in the room. This new guy and the fella next to him. Going at it hot and heavy.
All right, go on.
This do any good, you know?
What's that?
Holding a stake on a black eye. Supposed to take swelling down.
I wouldn't know, sir.
Sure hope so. Guy laid a bottle on my cheek. Feels like he broke something.
You want us to call a doctor for you?
No, I'll check one later. Other cops asked me the same thing. I'm all right.
Yes, sir. Would you like to go ahead with your story, please?
Not much more to tell. The place just seemed to explode. I jumped over the bar. I got a billy club in the back. Grabbed that and jumped over the bar and tried to get the two guys apart. They were throwing everything they could lay their hands on at each other. Well, look at the place. You bet if I just put a lock on the door and open up someplace else, it'd be easier.
Just to be sure, would you take a look at these? Just the man who caused the fight.
Wait a minute, I can't see too good. Yeah, that's him.
You're pretty sure, eh?
Yeah, Louis Rote, that's the fellow.
Well, this afternoon when we talked to you, you said you didn't know him.
He didn't make much of an impression then. When I saw him in person, I remembered.
Well, he was in here earlier then.
Yeah, same guy.
Did you hear him say anything at all that might help us find him?
No, but you ought to talk to the guy you had the fight with.
Yeah?
He went to school with Rote.
We got the name of the man the suspect had the fight with. We drove over to his home and talked to him. He explained that he'd been enrolled in a night class with Rote. He went on to say that they'd met at school when both of them were studying criminology at one of the colleges in the area. We got what information we could about Rote, and then Frank and I went back to the office. We tried to contact the school, but we were not able to reach anyone who could check the registration records for us. The next morning, we called the head registrar and asked her to check the records in the college night extension courses for a Louis Rote. 30 minutes later, she called back with the suspect's address. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the place, a 2-story boarding house out on Adams Boulevard. Rote had moved, but he'd left a forwarding address. We drove over there and found that he was still registered. We got the number of the room, we went upstairs. Frank stood on one side of the door while I took the other.
Just a minute. Yeah?
You Louis Rote?
Yeah, what do you want?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
For what?
Suspicion of robbery?
How'd you get to me?
We did.
Can I get a coat?
No, you tell us where it is. We'll get it for you.
Closet over there.
I'll get it.
There's a bottle of aspirin in the pocket there. Make sure you don't drop it. Hangover I got, I'm going to need something.
Yeah.
Don't think I ever had a headache like this one. Terrible.
Well, you better get used to it.
Huh?
They're going to get worse. A show-up was arranged, and all of the victims of the holdups were present. They all gave positive identifications of Louis Rote as the man who'd held them up. A complaint was issued by the district attorney's office, and on the following Friday, August 2nd, a preliminary hearing was held in Division 34 of Municipal Court. Rote was bound over for the charges filed against him. September 2nd at 10 a.m., the suspect pled guilty to robbery in the first degree, 2 counts. Rote asked for immediate sentence, and the judge complied with the request. He was sent to San Quentin, where he went through the clinic. On recommendation of the authorities at the prison, the board ordered him sent to the penitentiary of Chino, California. 7 months had passed since his arrest, and from what we heard, Rote was a model prisoner. During that time, we cleaned up a string of loan company holdups, and Frank's children had gone through the chicken pox and several types of virus. On Sunday, February 23rd, Frank and I were in the office trying to catch up on the detail work.
You got the L.A. number on Lawrence Pachetti?
Yeah. Wait a minute. There you are. 168947.
68947. Sure mean one.
Yeah. Terrible what he did to that kid.
Oh, man.
Robbery Friday. Yeah, Savvy. Mm-hmm. When did it happen? Well, we know how he did it? All right, we'll check into it right away. No. Send it down, will you? Right. Bye. Teletype in from Chino.
Yeah?
Rote just broke out of jail. An immediate watch was put out on all the places Rote was known to frequent. All officers in the field were supplied with descriptions and pictures of the suspect. From the story as we got it from the prison officials, we were able to piece together the method of Rote's escape. Several months before he'd started on the bank robberies, he'd gotten work as a day laborer up at Chino. He'd managed to bury a gun and several $100s in a watertight container in the prison grounds. On his arrival at the prison, he'd waited for the right moment, and then he dug up the weapon and the money and made a break. He picked Sunday, a day when the prison grounds were crowded with visitors. Fortunately, there'd been no one hurt when Rote had escaped. However, we knew he was armed and he was to be considered dangerous. 2 days after his escape, a man answering his description held up a grocery store. From the clerk, we obtained a positive identification of Rote. The next day, he hit again. This time, he beat one of the clerks in the store when the man refused to open the cash register. Additional information was forwarded to all law enforcement agencies throughout the area. Rote's picture was carried on the police television show, and the daily newspapers cooperated and carried his likeness and description. Calls began to come into the complaint board from people who thought they'd seen the suspect. In each instance, the information was checked out, and several of the reports appeared authentic. On Wednesday, March 4th, we got a call from Calvin Niles, the bartender who'd given us the original information on Rote. Frank and I drove out to see him.
I tried to hold him here, tried my darndest, but he wouldn't go for it.
Mm-hmm. Did you talk to him at all?
Yeah, I had a couple of words.
What about?
Mainly about the fight he had before he got him. You know, when he broke up the place.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about that. He said he was sorry about it. Told me the other fellow caused it.
Mm-hmm.
Said he'd like to be able to pay for it, but he didn't have the money. I thought he was going to hit me up for a loan. The way he acted and all. Thought sure he wanted to make a touch.
Did you say anything at all about where he was staying?
Not a word.
Didn't give you any indication
Nope.
at all? Was he driving a car?
Not that I could see. When he walked out, I went over to the door to see if I could spot anything, but by the time I got out from behind the bar, he disappeared.
Is there a cab stand around here?
A couple of blocks up the street. Think he might have taken a taxi?
We'll check it.
I don't think he could have gotten that far in the time it took me to get to the door. I can see that far, and I didn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he took a taxi.
Did he come in alone?
As far as I could tell, came in, sat down, ordered a highball, drank it up and left. I don't think he was here more than 5 minutes, all told.
But you're pretty sure there wasn't anybody with him, are you?
Yeah, I had been. I'd have seen him.
Did he look like he was going to meet anybody here?
Not especially.
Give you any reason for coming in?
Not right out, he didn't.
How do you mean?
Lucky I did it now, I guess. I didn't plan it that way.
What's that?
I told you I thought he wanted to make a touch.
Yeah.
I told him I'd just taken the money to the bank, dropped it in the night depository, said I'd cleaned the place out.
He left right after that?
Yeah, finished up his drink and walked out. Sure got a lot of nerve, if you ask me.
What do you mean?
Well, he comes in the place once, breaks it up, then comes back to try to hold it up.
Well, you're not sure about that, are you?
As far as I'm concerned, that's what he came in for.
Can you give us a description of what he was wearing?
Plain blue suit. Looked like it was gabardine, 2-button.
How about a hat?
No, he wasn't wearing one. Had on a white shirt, black knit tie, you know, the narrow kind. One of those little stick pins shaped like a little ladybug. You know the kind I mean?
Yes, sir.
One of those.
All right, Mr. Niles, if anything more comes up, we'd appreciate a call from you.
You get it. I'll tell you one thing, Sergeant.
What's that?
After that fight, I did just about everything I could to help business, help pay for the damage.
Yes, sir.
This is one customer I want to lose.
For the next 2 days, the search for the suspect went on. Roaming houses where he might have been staying were checked. Friends and relatives were interrogated. Al Gayton down in San Diego was notified, and he alerted the authorities at the border in the event Rote tried to escape into Mexico. In the meantime, a rolling stakeout was set up in the area where the thief had been hitting. 2 more days passed without activity. On Monday, March 9th, Frank and I were in Unit 1K80, cruising on West Pico.
Sure is a quiet night.
Yeah.
Be glad when it's over. I'll get home and hit the sack.
How you coming with the books?
Huh? Oh, you mean for the sergeant exam?
Yeah.
Oh, pretty good.
All units, attention, all units. A 211 has just occurred at the grocery store at the corner of Pico Boulevard and Ottawa Street. Unit 1R13, handle the call, code 3.
Better hit it.
Yeah.
Attention, all units. A 211 has just occurred at the grocery store at the corner of Pico Boulevard and Ottawa Street. Unit 1R13, handle the call, code 3.
1K80 to Control 1.
Control 1 to 1K80, go ahead.
Code 6 at Pico Boulevard and Ottawa Street.
Control 1 to 1K80, roger, KMA 367. Attention all units. Be on the lookout for the following described suspect, wanted in connection with 211 at grocery store at Pico Boulevard and Ottawa Street. Suspect described as WMA, 40 or 50 years, 5 feet 8 and 1/2, 150 to 155, medium build, gray hair. Suspect was wearing a dark blue suit, no hat, white shirt, black tie, and black shoes. Suspect has a mole on the left side of his face, just above the mouth. He is carrying a large blue steel revolver, Western type. Suspect believed to be driving a 1952 Chrysler sedan, dark in color, license number unknown. Vehicle has a damaged left rear fender. Use caution. Suspect is considered dangerous. KMA 367.
Sounds like Rote, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hang on. Here's Pico.
The car that just passed us.
Yeah?
Dark Chrysler sedan, dented left fender. You better check it.
Right. Hold it.
It's taking off. You better lean on it.
Doesn't look like he's going to stop.
Watch it, Frank. The streetcar.
It's a close one.
As long as they don't come any closer, huh?
You see him?
Yeah, up ahead.
You going to try a shot at him?
No, we can't. There's too many people around.
We're pulling up.
All right, hold it steady. Pull over, police officer.
He doesn't act like he hears you.
Throw it all right.
Yeah.
Try to cut him off. All right, come on, Rote. Pull over.
Nothing.
All right, cut him off.
Right. Hang on.
Come on, pull up. Let's go.
He really plowed into that lamppost.
Yeah. All right, come on, out of the car.
All right. Getting out. See, I've got my hands up in the air. Doing like you
All right, come on, move it.
There.
Come on, put your hands in the car here.
Yeah.
Lean on it. I'll shake it. Yeah, here's the gun, Joe. All right. Come on, Ruff. Get your hands behind you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
About my car.
We'll take care of it.
You're not going to just leave it there, are you?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Huh?
You're not going to be driving it for a while.
Louis Albert Rote was tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 4 counts, and violation of Section 4530 PC escape. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Escape from a state prison is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 1 year. Said second term of imprisonment to commence from the time the prisoner would otherwise have been discharged from said prison.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
This one's about Pete Kelly. This one's about him. It's about the world he goes around in. It's about the big music and the big trouble and the big roar of the 20s. So when they ask you, you turn right around and speak up. You tell them this one's about the blues. Pete Kelly's blues.
Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Jim Moser, music by Dick Cathcart.
Number 417 Cherry Street is a standard speakeasy. The help is paid in cash, and the books are burned at the end of the month. Every week we use 30 cases of booze and a pound of coffee. After salaries, there's gas and lights and a payoff to the Prohibition boys. In Kansas City, the price is good. For $100, they steer in the drunks and make one rate a year. The place is run by George Lupo. He's a quiet little guy who wouldn't give you the sweat off an ice pitcher. The beer's green and the gin's as young as yesterday, and the music's loud. I'm Pete Kelly. I play cornet. We start every night about 10 o'clock, and we play till they sweep out the broken glass. We don't draw any customers. We don't chase any away. The music is straight New Orleans. It started in the front parlors of Storyville and drifted north. Some of it laid over in Chicago. That's where I got on and rode it out here with a piano player named Rosie. He's still with the band, but last night he was barely with it. We took a break about 11. Rosie was late getting back. He might as well have stayed in there because he kept looking around the room, and the way the piano sounded, you'd think he had on a catcher's mitt.
let's take 5, huh?
Sorry, Pete. I'm a little behind tonight.
You haven't left the station. What's the matter?
I'm nervous. Take a look around. Near the door. Back this way. Place is full of cops.
Forget it. Have Jake open a couple of windows. And take a walk. Get yourself in shape.
Now till I find out which way to fall, these boys are here for heavy duty. I'll learn that out in the kitchen.
All right, let's duck behind the stand. Come on. All right, what about it?
You know Dutch Courtney?
I drink his beer, that's all.
Somebody shot Courtney up tonight out near Highway 40.
Well, that's too bad. He'd have drawn a good crowd downtown. Who killed him?
I don't know, but whoever he is, he's in for a big night. The police are trying for him, so is his partner.
Well, let him play. How does our place fit into it?
I couldn't guess. We'll soon find out. See the big guy who just walked in the door?
Yeah. Boss cop?
Almost. It's Eddie Newman, Dutch Courtney's partner.
Yeah, come on, we better get back in the stand.
All right, won't be long now. Hot, dry up.
How's your old man?
All right, hold on now. Here she comes.
All right, Rosie. Yeah. All right, fellas, let's hit it.
Happy New Year. Goodbye, 1921. Hello, 1922.
Yeah.
My name's Newman. Come outside.
Oh, we're due to play.
I'll hear you later. Come on. You hear about Dutch Courtney? They picked him out of the mud tonight.
It means nothing to me.
It does to me. Dutch was a friend.
Well, if it'll help, try.
I'm short on time, Kelly. Give me a rundown on Gus Trudeau.
There's nothing to say. He played for a while and he went to the boneyard.
You know him. You know his sister.
You'll have to ask Courtney about that. I haven't seen her since the old days.
You know Gus well enough to figure he didn't like Dutch Courtney. He didn't like it 1 pound.
Well, you can't blame him. Dutch sidestepped and paid Trudeau's way to jail.
Bookkeeping. I don't know anything about it.
All right, look, Newman, you're on the wrong track. Now, this is a job killing. Your boy got frisky and somebody sent down a Chicago gun. The price tag shows.
Sorry, Trudeau's my pick.
What did he hit him with, a high-powered rifle? Gus Trudeau's away up in Leavenworth.
He used to be. Gus went over the wall this morning. When he shows up, I want him.
Well, why pick me?
I ask around. He'll head for you. He's broke. He'll need train fare.
No, not if he killed Dutch Courtney. Somebody will give him a railroad. When they dragged the Blues out of the back room and moved them up front, there were 3 of the best leading the parade. They were all blowing cornets. One was Buddy Bolden, one was King Oliver, and the other was Gus Trudeau. There was a lot of music, but not much man. He picked me up on a union date on the south side of Chicago and taught me how to play. He got into me for a Boston 3-star cornet and gin for the rest of his life. When he got down to running errands for Dutch Courtney, I left for Kansas City. A couple of months later, Courtney needed a patsy, and Trudeau was it. He wound up with a 5-year stand at Leavenworth. But Gus never felt right unless he was in trouble. Only this time he cut me in for a piece, too. Well, I picked up a drink at the bar and fought my way back to the stand.
Anything wrong?
No. You finished the set?
1 more to go. Sensation.
All right, let's do it.
What's wrong, Pete?
A friend of ours killed Dutch Courtney. All right, sensation. 1, 2. right, let's get off for a while, then.
Who'd you say killed Dutch Courtney?
Gus Trudeau.
And what, Prayer? Trudeau's in jail.
No, not since this morning.
Which one of you is Kelly?
I am.
A friend of yours in town wants to see you right away.
Who is it?
He's waiting up at your room.
Did he give a name?
Just Gus.
An hour later, I was still looking for an out. The muscle man on the side door went to the bar a little after 2 a.m. Our base man, Red, loaned me his keys, and I slipped out. I got on to 12th Street, picked up his Erskine coupe, and headed up for my room. All the way out Grand Avenue, the streetlights were spending the rest of New Year's alone. Some guys with wide brooms were pushing at the confetti, and the fog was loafing down in Washington Square. When I got to my place, I parked the car in back and headed up the stairs. The college kids down at the end of the hall had their door open. The party sounded young. I was looking for Gus when I opened the door, but he had a substitute. I knew her way back at 18th and Hall Street. She was pretty and the fastest freight in town. It must have been a long time ago, because somewhere along the line she'd run into a batch of Wednesday weekends and she wasn't pretty anymore.
Hello, Pete.
Where's your brother?
I don't know where Gus is. That's why I'm here. I knew you'd be the first one he'd come to.
Yeah. Now what about the break?
I was up to see him 2 weeks ago. He didn't say anything about it. Pete, we gotta help him.
I've been hearing that since I met him.
You're the only one who remembers, Pete. You're the only one who cares.
No, a lot of people care now. Eddie Newman wants him. The cops are looking hard.
I gotta find him before they do. You gotta help Pete.
He was supposed to meet me. That's all I know. I'll wait for him.
He needs a hand, Pete. He's in deep.
Yeah, well, he's always in deep. Now, you do what you want, Madge. I ran front for Gus too long. I'm out of the habit now.
Please.
If Gus wants cover, he can look for a police station.
Gus can get away. Some money and a car, that's all he needs.
It's going to take more than that to get out. Every cop in town's working tonight.
Give him a chance, Pete. Help him.
No, thanks.
Gus has been good to you, Pete. He taught you music. He's been nothing but good to you.
I'm paid up. I bought his gin for him for 5 years.
Well, then do it for me. What I used to be worth.
Now, Madge, it's old. That was 80 years ago. I can't help Gus.
Do it for me. I haven't changed that much.
I have.
You're still the same.
You've been working at it.
You remember.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same, Petey. It's just like the first time.
You never had a first time. How about a drink?
Will you help me, Pete? Find Gus. Get him out of town.
$10. That's as far as I go. $10.25. Now I'm getting off.
Where are you going?
Back to work. Tell Gus to take care of himself.
Hold it right there, Pete.
You stayed too long in Chicago, Madge.
I bought the gun in Kansas City. Don't go for the door.
You better give it to Gus. He may need it.
We're going to find him. You're going to help me.
All right, come on. Give me the gun, Madge.
If I shoot, it'll hurt.
Put it away, Madge. Come on, drop it.
Who is she?
We'll trade. Who are you?
Cage. I work downtown homicide. Who you got on your floor?
Madge Trudeau.
Tell me about her.
I knew her in Chicago. After that, I heard she did favors for Dutch Courtney. After that, I don't know.
She tired? What you doing there?
Looking for Gus Trudeau.
Oh. Where is Gus?
I don't know. I've been asked that twice tonight. Now, this is the third time around. I don't know.
You probably will.
Why? Why do I have to get into this?
Because you're Gus Trudeau's friend.
Well, then let him get another one. I'm tired of the job.
I don't blame you, fella. You're going to come out of this with a lot of trouble.
For instance?
I'll make it simple. If Gus Trudeau shows and you hide him, we'll book you for aiding and abetting.
Yeah.
If he shows and you turn him over to Newman, we'll send you up as accessory to murder.
Yeah.
If he shows you turn him over to us, Newman will probably kill you.
Well, that's good. In the meantime, what do you guys do for a living?
We're busy. We couldn't prove Newman killed you. It's after 2. Get back to that club.
And leave you here?
I got work to do.
Like what?
This woman. See if I can get anything out of her.
Yeah, it's been done before, but I'll bet 10-1 in your case.
Gone back. I'll tidy up here.
All right, good night, cop. Leave the rugs. I left Cage standing in the middle of the room looking down at Madge Trudeau. He didn't watch me leave, but I figured it wouldn't be too long before he turned that gleam back on me. I went back to 417, and I ran into our piano man, Rosie, outside in the alley, using a smoke for a chaser.
Happy holidays, Petey. How's Gus?
I didn't see him.
An odd hour of the morning, Petey, but I figure the fates are hard at work shaping up a few sordid futures.
Cut the piano, huh?
You've got a very limited selection.
What do you mean?
Before the general citizenry sits down to breakfast, you may get a reward, the eternal kind.
Come on, what is it?
I've got it all figured for the two of us, Petey. Today we'll spend our time dodging destinies. We'll hit for some small back room. I'll bring the bottled goods. We'll live on gin and sauerkraut and make the walls sit up and listen. One horn, one piano. The blues, Petey. We'll ride 'em into the middle of next year.
All right, throw the bottle away. Will you just set me straight, huh?
Across the river, there's two places, the High Life Club or Fat Annie's.
You sure he's there?
That's what the word is. I'll pass the hat down at the Union Hall for both of them.
Is Gus alone over there?
Right now, but there's going to be a crowd.
What do you mean?
I told you.
Yeah.
When Eddie Newman gets back, I got to tell him.
Well, I knew it was a silly move. Newman had 100 guns on tour for Gus. Cage and the boys from headquarters were standing by for seconds. Helping Gus Trudeau was out of order, but I couldn't get one thing out of my mind. If Gus did kill Courtney, why didn't he pick up some travel money before he did it? It was backwards. If you're going to hang up your pants, you take them off first. Well, it was about 3 a.m. when I got down to the river and crossed over to the Kansas side. The High Life Club was smoked up and had a little of everything except Gus Trudeau. I looked in the kitchen and tried a back room, and then I went to the bar to see if I could drum up some talk. I had one taker, a boy with wavy black hair. He got up from the table of 3 others, walked over and sat down next to me.
Well, how are you? Come in here often?
Well, this is the first time.
Welcome. I'll buy you a drink?
Well, I'm all set. You try one yourself.
I think drinking's all right, but I hate people that drink too much. Don't you?
You work here?
Well, not regular. Sometimes I dance when the other act doesn't show up. You here alone or you waiting for something?
I'm waiting. For a guy named Gus Trudeau.
You one of his friends?
I met. Where is he?
We left a while ago. I'm not sure where he went.
Well, you get sure. It's important.
You mentioned someone named Bessie.
All right, hold it.
What do you hear, Kelly?
Get away, Newman. Try another stool.
This'll do.
Well, if he asked you to leave, I think you should leave.
Oh, a choir boy, that's nice.
Leave him alone.
Who is he?
I never saw him before.
What does he know about Trudeau?
Nothing.
Now, don't kid me. You're not here to spend the time of day. You're here for Trudeau. You little friend. Where's Gus Trudeau?
I don't have to talk to you. I'm a guest in this place.
You're not anymore. Climb down and head for that door, both of you.
You can't make us do that. We're not going to leave.
It's a split vote, Buster. I don't like the way he pushes.
That's right. Just walk. I'll bet you look good.
I knew right then as we walked across the floor. I knew Eddie Newman wasn't going to leave him alone. He was going to pick at him, whether he knew anything about Gus Trudeau or not. It was going to get messy, and the boy with the nice eyes was going to help. Outside it wasn't snowing anymore, but the ground was covered right down to the river. There was a moon out, and it looked all right if you like nature. We walked over toward a bunch of trees. Newman's car was parked there. It was a black touring sedan with a strong-arm guy in the back seat. There was another one sitting on the running board. He had a machine gun across his lap.
This'll do. All right, now let's hear about Gus Trudeau.
I don't know anything about him. This man and I were just talking.
Go easy, Newman. I never saw him before.
Did you always talk to strangers or Betty did?
It's none of your business.
Where's Gus Trudeau?
I wouldn't tell you. Suppose I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
Yes, you would.
You keep your hands off of me.
Stop pressing, Newman. You don't care about Trudeau now. You just don't like this guy.
Stay out, Kelly. Come here.
Hey, let go. Let go.
Stop screeching. I'll break your arm.
You keep your hands off of you. You pig, you dirty pig.
You're in trouble, fella. Shut up.
Well, he is a pig. His hands are all dirty and his teeth are dirty. I bet even his clothes are dirty. All of them.
Now lay there. All right, Dave, move in here. Back away, Kelly. You're up, choir boy.
No. Please, mister, do something. Don't let a thing like this happen.
It already has, Buster.
No, you can't.
Tell me, Newman, did you ever find out about Gus Trudeau? Newman didn't answer. He climbed into the car and they drove off. Well, I stayed there for a minute to look at the guy in the snow. His face was unmarked. I did him a favor. I rolled him over so it showed in the moonlight. I knew his mother'd want him to look real good the night Eddie Newman's chopper squad cut him down. Well, it was getting cold out, and the name Bessie had to mean Fat Annie's place up the river on the Kansas side. I made it there and found Bessie. She was back at the piano, wandering around somewhere in the middle of the blues. You couldn't miss that voice if she took up yodeling. Bessie Smith.
I've got those Kansas City blues since my man has gone away. Hi, Pete.
Bessie, what do you know?
Round the back, Pete. You go up the stairs, the loft, way up there at the top.
All right, thanks, Bessie.
All right.
I felt my way out and around back and up a couple of flights of stairs that didn't creak in time with the music. There was a door at the top, and I pushed it open. He was hunched back on a pile of hay in the corner. He sat up and blinked a couple of times. There wasn't much left, just the frame. And rattling around inside, a lot of tired echoes that wouldn't lay down and die. There was an empty gin bottle on the floor.
Petey, I knew you'd get here.
Yeah, well, they didn't make it easy.
You're looking good, Petey. Everything's 6-2 and even, huh?
You forget easy, Gus. You're in a jam. You broke jail.
Yeah, I told him all about you up there, Petey. I told him there's another Gus Trudeau blowing down to Kansas City. I'm proud of you, Pete.
Yeah, sure, Gus.
You're just like me, Pete. I told him all about you. You're the only good thing I ever done. I knew you'd come through. A car and some money, Pete, it'll do everything. It'll make it all new. Is it too much to ask? You tell me, Pete.
They want you for Dutch Courtney.
You know better, Pete. I didn't kill Dutch.
You had a reason.
Did I? Forget.
He hung a frame on you, Gus. 5 years worth, remember?
I didn't kill Dutch. Get me a drink, huh, boy?
No, not tonight.
Don't preach at me. Just something to help me over.
Oh, yeah. Now, come out of the fog, Gus. You're going to get a drink or a train ticket from me. You take your pick, because it's the last time around.
Just listen to that. Bessie's still going strong, ain't she?
Yeah, and so are the cops. I got one idea for you, Gus. Get moving.
You remember Chicago, Petey? You and Madge. Chicago always liked me.
You checked out, Gus. Biderbeck's got your chair.
They'll remember me and you, Petey. I found you when you were nothing.
What are you going to do? Where are you going?
I got it all set up. It's big and brand new. A place in Mexico.
Yeah?
The guy who bunked in my cell with me, his mother runs a place down there. It's just like it used to be.
Yeah, well, you won't get there on a gin bottle.
I got it set up, boy. Car and some money. It's not much to ask. You haven't got a drink, have you?
You can drink in Mexico. Where you dreaming up the car and the dough?
It's fixed, boy. You just see this guy and tell him I'm ready. Abe Gaffney. He's got a place on Pershing Road. You know it?
Yeah, I know it. Abe's doing all this?
Just tell him I'm ready.
All right.
How's Madge, Pete?
She's all right.
Come and see me, huh, Pete? It's hot in Mexico.
It gets hot here.
What's the matter, Pete? You ain't sore, are you?
No, I ain't sore. I'm just tired. I'll tell Gaffney that I'm checking out. Goodbye, Gus.
You're not getting too big for your old friends, are you, boy?
Friends are like everything else, Gus.
Yeah?
They wear out on you. Well, it wasn't any different than a dozen times before. I knew there wasn't very much left, but I wasn't looking for a second-rate ghost with an empty gin bottle. I crossed the river back to the Missouri side and headed down Main Street and then swung over toward Abe Gaffney's place on Pershing Road. It was pushing close to 5:30 a.m. The sun wasn't up yet, and the night was too tired to care. I pulled up in front of the Murad sign in front of Gaffney's. Inside, a counterman with pimples and coffee was leaning on last night's paper. A beaded curtain shut off the hallway that led back to Gaffney's room.
You want some?
Yeah, Gaffney.
Not here.
Where do I find him?
I don't.
I was supposed to meet him here.
If so?
Look, this is Gaffney's place. Where is he?
I told you.
Now listen, Junior, maybe you think you do a good imitation of Calvin Coolidge, but I want an answer. Where's Gaffney?
What's your name?
Kelly.
You could have saved an argument. This way. Through here.
When do you go to bed, Kelly?
You still looking, Newman?
I'm still asking. Where's Gus?
I don't think he'd give me time to answer.
There's a good reason why I let you walk away tonight. I gave you 2 hours all by yourself on the Kansas side. I don't think you threw him away. You got a line on Gus Trudeau. I want it.
I got nothing for you.
But don't be silly, Pete. The cops get him or I do. It goes either way.
You get no help from me.
I don't want no help. I want Gus. Now, come on. Come on. I'll make you part of the wallpaper.
You better send for Dave.
I don't need him.
I think you do. Now, don't bother to get up. I'm leaving.
I don't believe it. Wasn't your turn, Kelly.
When I got up off the floor, the room was cold and the lights were out. Newman was gone, but I knew he was still in business. I knew if he didn't find Gus Trudeau this trip, he'd come back for me. I got into Red's car and followed the radiator cap back to 417. I found Rosie back at the stand having breakfast.
Did you bring an egg, Petey? I hate to drink on an empty stomach.
Newman been back here?
I haven't noticed. You look abused.
Yeah. Anybody say anything?
You were missed. I heard the news.
What's that?
They found the guy who got Dutch Courtney, a fellow by the name of Doyle, East St. Louis. Cops got the goods on him, gun, fingerprints, the works.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long night. What was his beef with Dutch?
Doyle owned East St. Louis. Dutch wouldn't believe it.
Leave it to Gus. If there's a hole, he'll fall in it.
Makes it easier on him now, doesn't it? Newman will call his boys off now?
Well, somebody better tell him in a hurry.
Did you see Gus?
Yeah, I saw him. He's trying to get out of town.
Pete Kelly?
Yeah, that's right.
Abe Gaffney, Pete.
Well, you're a hard man to find.
Newman came in the front door. I went out the back. This won't take long. Car keys, money for Gus.
No, you got the wrong guy, Abe. I quit an hour ago.
Fight it out with yourself. The car's out in the alley. It's a great chance to tell Gus it needs gas.
Well, wait a minute. You can take this stuff to Gus. You know where he is.
No, thanks. You take care of Gus. He's an old friend.
What's the matter with you?
I hardly knew him.
The clock over the bar was leaning on 6:15. We got back on the stand and started the last set. 80 pounds of stale cigarette smoke was holding up the ceiling and waving down on a dirty blue curtain over the dance floor. Behind the bar, one of the guys was wiping up. Two couples picked their way to the dance floor and pushed each other around a while. We finally gave up. Oh, the whole thing. It was all out of step. Wrinkled stockings, brown gardenias, torn paper hats, and Gus Trudeau. He walked in the door and stood off to one side, just back of the stand. All right, it's the last one. Blues and B flat. That's it. Same call tonight, 10 o'clock. You can pack up.
Hey, Pete. Petey, over here. I heard you. You sound good, Pete. It's just what I told him up there. You're on your way, boy.
All right, now you heard it, Gus. I got the money for you and the car keys. I'll see you, Gus, huh?
You know what I told him? Another Gus Trudeau's blowing down in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I only got one thing to tell you, Pete. Don't forget it. Play like you talk. Don't lie.
Happy New Year, Gus.
Hi, Madge.
Hold it there, Pete. This is a family fight. Stay out.
I thought I took that gun away from you.
What's the matter, Madge? What are you doing?
No, don't tell me that talk, Gus. Dutch can't hear you.
What do you mean, Madge?
You killed him. You blew your top and you killed him, just like you did everything else for me. You and the gin and that cheap brass horn of yours. You spent us all, Pete and me, and you ran through the whole bunch till you got to Dutch.
Pete, I didn't do anything.
You killed Dutch Courtney. I loved him. I loved him enough to square it.
No, you got it all wrong, Madge.
Goodbye, Gus. I'll tell him to throw your horn in after you.
Want to read the paper, Madge? You killed the wrong brother.
Stay away, Pete.
It's in the paper, Madge. Guy by the name of Doyle. He killed Dutch.
They're not sure, are they?
Yeah, they're sure.
Oh, what'll I do?
I got 2 things for you, Madge. And the car keys. And you see what you can do with 10 minutes start.
You didn't have anything more for Gus, did you, Pete?
No, I guess not.
Well, he made it.
Yeah, Gus finally got out of town.
Pete Kelly's Blues. Starring Jack Webb, was story by Jim Mosier, music by Dick Cathcart. Scoring by Matty Matlock. Pete Kelly's Blues is based on characters created by Richard L. Breen.
This is NBC, the national broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent. Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to auto theft detail. You receive a report that a circus truck has been broken into. Several of the animals are missing. Some of them are dangerous. Your job, find them.
It was Monday, May 12th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of auto theft detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from Superior Court, and it was 11:46 a.m. when I got to room 40. Auto theft.
Hi. How'd it go?
Well, his lawyer's got a continuance.
Yeah, how come?
I don't know. New evidence they want to introduce.
What's the DA's office say?
Well, there's nothing they can say. It comes under the heading of due process, you know.
Yeah. You think you're going to nail him?
Alex thinks so. The guy's admitted his guilt. Now he's claiming confession is a lot of bunk. Says we got it out of him by force.
Why now?
Prove he did it without the confession, I guess. Shouldn't be too hard. We got all the evidence. We get the chance to lay it out for the jury.
Yeah. When you go back?
Let's see. Set it off for a week, I guess, yeah. Anything come in?
No, not big.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Something we can do for you?
I'd like to report something stolen.
All right, sir. Just come on in.
Sure gets serious around here.
All right, sir. Now, what kind of a car was it?
Ain't no car.
Beg pardon?
No car stolen. Stuff in the car.
All right. What was it?
Well, it wasn't really a car anyway. A truck. That's where they stole it from, a truck.
All right. If you'll give us a description.
As far as I know, they might not have stolen it anyway. Might just open it and let them all out.
Yes, sir. Well, the sooner we get this report filled out, the faster we can start looking for the stolen merchandise.
Yeah. Just thought of that myself. Should have.
All right, sir. Now, what's your name?
Clarence Havill. Havill. No R. Most people put a R in it. Havill. It ain't. It's Havill.
Where'd the theft take place?
Corner Fountain, de Longprix. Right on the corner there. Just south of the red zone on Fountain.
All right, sir. What was taken?
You see, I got this call from one of the drivers who works for my brother and me. Drives one of our trucks. Called and said the machine broke down. Wanted me to bring another tractor over.
Well, we can get to all that later, Mr. Havill. Now, what were the stolen articles?
Animals.
Sir?
Animals from our carnival.
What kind of animals?
Oh, a couple of monkeys, Cody Mundy, 2 raccoons.
All right, sir. Anything else?
Yeah, here comes the bad part. This is what I was afraid of.
What's that, sir?
It's the reason I waited so long to report it. I thought maybe he'd turn up.
What's that, sir?
A black panther.
We got a description of the animals, and the local broadcast was gotten out on them immediately. 12:18 p.m. We continued to talk to Clarence Havel.
Friday night. That's when it happened.
What time Friday night?
About 7:05 or 7:10, right after the fights went on. That's when the phone rang.
I see.
I was kind of sore about being interrupted when the fights is on. Always watch them. Most of my friends know not to call me then.
Yes, sir.
Well, anyway, the phone rang. I got up and went over to answer it. It was Bert.
Who was Bert?
Bert Newell. He's the driver.
Oh, I see.
Said he had a breakdown at Fountain de Long Creek. Asked me if I had an extra tractor. Happened I did.
Uh-huh.
Bert asked me to bring it over. Said he wanted to use it to get the show to Nevada.
So you drove over then, huh?
Not right away.
How's that?
Well, it looked like the fight wasn't going to last much longer, and I wanted to see the finish of it. So I stuck around for a couple more rounds. After that, I left.
Uh-huh.
Drove over and found Bert right on the corner, just standing there, not trying to do nothing about the breakdown, just standing there.
Yes, sir.
Well, you just bet I read him off. Told him the least he could have done was get out a wrench or something, tried to find the trouble. I read him off good.
Yes, sir.
Didn't do no good. He's shiftless, you know. Real shiftless.
Yes, sir.
You know Bert, do you?
No, sir.
Shiftless. You know him, you'd know that.
You want to go on, please?
Oh, yeah. Well, we got the trailer on the hitch, and the tractor hooked up. Only took a couple of minutes, and got it done, and Bert took off.
Where was he going, you know?
Over to Nevada. Going to play a show there. Overton. Going to play a show there.
Yes, sir.
Right by Lake Mead, Overton.
Yes, sir. When did you find out the animals were missing?
When I got the wire from my brother. That's when I got the first inkling.
When was that?
Last night. Company phoned me about, I guess it was about 8:30.
I see. You have the telegram?
No, I told you they phoned it.
What did it say?
Just the animals are gone. From my brother. Said that the animals weren't on the truck when it got to Overton.
Uh-huh.
Told me about how the locks on a couple of the cages was busted and smashed and the animals was gone.
Well, now, sir, is it possible that the cages might have been broken into some other place than Los Angeles?
Might be, yes, might be. Ain't likely.
Well, why'd he say that?
Only reason I know of, because it ain't likely. Not only that, I got proof of it.
How do you mean, sir?
Well, as soon as I got the wire, I went down to Fountain de Long Creek. Went right there and looked around.
Uh-huh.
Figured I might as well go down there and look around. I might find something, you know. Took a big 4-cell flash, went down the corner.
That's it.
Yeah, I was right. That's where it happened. Yeah, that's where they got away. Found a spoor, you know.
I beg your pardon?
Spoor. Tracks. Found them all over the place.
Oh, I see. Of the panther?
No, raccoons.
Oh.
Not only that, I found something else.
Yes, sir.
Monkeys. Found them, too.
Well, where were they?
Phone pole, right up on the top, just sitting there shivering. They kind of little, you know. Get real cold easy. We have them around the place. They wear little sweaters. Get chilly real easy.
How about the rest of the animals? You see any sign of them?
No, I went over to a little store near there and got a head of lettuce. 17 cents. Took it back to the phone pole, showed it to Caesar and Salome. Oh, they love lettuce.
Is that the monkeys?
Yeah, Mama's ex, white-eared. Love lettuce.
They came right down then, did they?
Yeah, right down the pole. Slithered right for the lettuce. And they were scared stiff. Being up there on that pole all night. Should have had their sweaters.
What about the other animals?
Not a sign of them. Just the spoor of the raccoons. Haven't got the slightest idea where they might have gone. No real problem, no, not them.
How do you mean?
Easy to replace. Just go up in the Hollywood Hills, lots of them there. Run all over the place, upsetting garbage cans. Imagine some of the people would be glad to have me come up there and take them away. Raccoons ain't no problem.
Well, Mr. Havel, what about the panther?
Well, he's a problem.
Yes, sir. Can you give us a description of the animal?
He's black.
Yes, sir.
Like the inside of a well, jet black. Even blacker than that ink they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
About 7 feet long. Oh, easy that.
Yes, sir.
That's counting the tail. 7 feet.
Anything else about him that we should know?
No, just a plain black panther, nothing special.
Is he dangerous?
Well, not unless he meets somebody. Dandy's got a temper.
That's the name of the animal, is it, Dandy?
Yeah. Naming that because he's blacker than the pits of the inferno. Dandy.
You're pretty sure he got out of that truck when the monkeys did, huh?
Well, I ain't going to give you no written guarantee, but I'm sure of it.
All right, sir. We'll start looking for him right away.
Well, Mr. Havel, where were these animals coming from?
Winter quarters. The standard ordering is going to be our first, just starting the season.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything else you can tell us that'll make it easier to find the panther?
No, not a thing. Just be careful, that's all. Don't hurt him. He's really as gentle as a kitten when you get to know him, like a big overgrown cat. Gentle.
Yes, sir.
That's something Clyde didn't understand.
Who's Clyde, sir?
My brother, Clyde.
Oh, I see.
He didn't like Dandy. Didn't understand him. That's what caused the trouble.
What was that?
Last winter, Clyde came to see the show, tell me about the bookings.
Yes, sir.
We discussed about how the best way to exhibit Dandy would be, and Clyde got too close to the cage.
Yeah.
Dandy almost killed him.
All officers in the area where the panther had escaped were notified, and an additional team of men were called from Metropolitan Reserves to patrol the vicinity. The presence of the animal on city streets presented a very real menace to all citizens in the city. A team of detectives from Auto Theft Detail were dispatched to the corner of Fountain and DeLongpre to talk to the people who lived in the area. However, they were unable to come up with any new information on the escaped panther. Frank and I talked to Chief of Detectives Thad Brown and with Captain Nelson, who had decided to start a block-by-block search for the missing cat. Authorities from the Griffith Park Zoo were consulted as to the possible hiding places of the animal. When the afternoon newspapers hit the streets, calls began to flood the complaint board asking for additional information on the panther. Local radio and television broadcasts carried stories about the escape, and the number of calls went up. Additional men had to be called to care for the switchboard. The search went on. Frank and I worked in the field along with the other men from Auto Theft Detail and officers from Metro Division. Every possible hiding place in the vicinity of Fountain and DeLongpre was searched without turning up any new information on the cat. It was the opinion of authorities that the panther might try to hide in the brush of the Hollywood Hills, and the search was moved to that vicinity. Tuesday, May 12th, Frank and I got back to the office from the area. We'd been up all night looking for the animal.
You want to check with the skipper?
Anybody around who can bring in some coffee?
I'll call Sal. He'll bring some over.
That'll be a good idea. Ask him to send over a sandwich, too.
Yeah, what kind you want?
I don't care. Just tell him to make sure the coffee's hot.
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
I'd like to talk to the men who are working on the panther thing.
Yes, sir. Come right in.
There's the end of the hall. I'd find him here.
Well, I'm Sergeant Hardy. Maybe I can help you.
You working with the search party?
Yes, sir. My partner and I have been out with them.
Have they caught it yet?
No, sir, not yet.
They know where it is?
Coffee? Well, no, sir, we don't.
That's what I thought. I'm Sidney Norton. I live in this town.
Yes, sir.
Got a family. I pay taxes.
Uh-huh.
Just want to ask one question.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Now, according to the papers, it's Havel, or whatever his name is. He owns the panther. Is that right?
His name's Clarence Havel.
But he owns the cat.
Yes, sir, that's right.
Well, I want his address.
Beg your pardon?
I want the number of his house. That's simple, isn't it?
Well, we're not allowed to give that out. I'm sorry.
All I want is his address so I can go over there and punch him right in the nose. You going to give it to me?
No, sir.
Who's your superior?
Captain Nelson.
Well, where is he? I want to talk to him.
He's in Chief Brown's office right now.
Well, where's that?
Down at the end of the hall, office number 26.
All right, I'll talk to him. I want that man's address, and I want it now. Terrible thing for the law to allow a person to keep animals like that so they can get away and walk around killing anybody they meet. If you cops can't do anything about it, I can. You can just bet I can.
Well, if you go out and cause Mr. Havel any trouble, you're liable for arrest, sir.
By whom?
Any policeman that he wants to call.
Well, you protect him, but you don't care about me and my family, is that it?
No, sir. You've both got rights of protection under the law. Now, if Havel's done anything, we'll take care of it.
When?
As soon as we find that panther.
Well, you may just be wrong. I've been talking around. There are a lot of people who feel like I do, a lot of them. Enough, maybe, to decide to do things our way.
Well, I wouldn't try it, Mr. Norton.
Too late, mister. You can't do anything about it. We will. Me and my friends will take care of it. It's out of your hands. We'll take care of Havel. Take care of him good.
I wouldn't make book on that.
Who's going to stop us?
Like I told you, any cop that Havel calls. Frank and I talked to Sidney Norton, and we finally convinced him that any action he might take would not help the situation. We sent him home, and then we met with Captain Nelson and Chief Brown. The progress of the search was reviewed, and it was decided to continue it in the Lake Hollywood area and in the upper Griffith Park Hills. All days off had been canceled, and additional officers were joining in the hunt for the panther. After the meeting, Frank and I got some breakfast, and then we drove out to Clarence Havel's home. It was a large ranch house at the corner of Victory Boulevard and Monterey Avenue out in the San Fernando Valley. We drove through the gate and we parked the car. Clarence Havel was sitting on the large porch waiting for us. A small monkey was sitting on his shoulder.
Hi, come on up and sit down.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, Mr. Friday? Mr. Smith?
All right, sir. Pretty good, sir.
Get you anything? Glass of ginger beer, maybe? Got some cold in the icebox?
No, sir. No, thanks.
Heard from my brother this morning.
All right?
Mm-hmm. In the valley. Got a telegram. Company phoned it to me again. Good news.
What's that, sir?
Well, beginning to look like it's all a mistake.
Sir?
The whole thing. Looks like the animals didn't get away here in Los Angeles.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's a telegram from my brother. Says they found the Cody Monday and one of the raccoons in Baker, California. Found them alongside the road. Tired and hungry. Guess they're sorry now they got out of the truck.
Well, how about the panther? Any word on him?
No, not yet, but Clyde set some men out to look for it. Sure Dandy will turn up.
How can we get in touch with your brother, Havel?
Can't.
What?
Can't get in touch with him. Out in the desert looking for Dandy. Out of touch.
Can you give us the address of your winter quarters here in town?
I can't do that, Mr. Friday.
Why not?
Don't know him.
Well, sir, you run a circus and you don't know where the animals are kept?
Well, not really a circus, a carnival.
Yes, sir, we understand, but what's the address?
I don't know.
You haven't any idea?
Not the least.
And you can't tell us where to reach your brother?
He's out looking for Dandy.
Well, how about it, Havel? Something that you're not telling us? Havel?
Yeah?
Well, is there?
We haven't got no regular winter quarters. Not regular set up. That's why I can't tell you where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't none.
All right, go ahead.
You see, the Havel Amalgamated Combined Shows is really a gypsy carnival.
How do you mean that?
Well, we ain't got no big operation. A couple of mangy animals. We don't have a license to keep them in the city. Only quarters we got are vacant lots. We set up and stay there until the neighbor starts complaining, and we move on. Trucks for the show are registered in states where the fee is smallest, and we got about every deal we could to keep the cost of operation down.
Now, what about the panther?
Dandy?
Yes, sir.
Only real attraction we got. Man killer. I told you about how I almost got Clyde, didn't I? I told you that.
Yes, sir.
Gotta understand, Dandy, or nothing works with him.
Is that right?
Might be something about Dandy.
Could be our officer. We gave him this number.
Yeah, just a minute. Hello? Yeah, this is number. Huh? Yeah, just a minute. You for you, Mr. Friday? Your office.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No trouble at all. Like to do what I can.
Yes, sir. Friday. Yes, Skipper. That's right. Well, you want to give me that address? Well, I checked out, did it? Uh-huh. No, we'll get right over. Frank, let's go.
Good news?
Well, we're not sure yet.
Huh?
They say they found the panther. The address we'd gotten on the telephone was in the Hollywood Hills just off Beechwood Drive. Frank and I drove down the freeway, turned off at Gower, up Franklin to Beechwood, and we continued up to Ledgewood Drive. By the time we got there, other units had arrived, and the immediate vicinity where the animal had been seen was surrounded. From one of the officers, we got the story. The panther had been seen by one of the civilians searching the area. The animal had run between two houses and jumped through a window into a ground floor garage. We checked the house, but we found that the occupants were not there. Because of the danger of the panther's presence and the difficulty of taking it alive, it was decided to try to shoot it. The officers involved in the search were armed with large caliber weapons. Frank and I took two sawed-off shotguns, and we approached the door leading to the garage. Who's covering the window? Mac. All right. I'll hit the door. Stand back. We'll try to see what's inside.
Okay. I can't see anything from the window.
Yeah, might be behind those boxes at the rear there.
Yeah.
You all set?
Yep. No.
See anything?
No. Wait a minute. Back there, behind the cases. Looks like something there.
All right, you take that side.
Right.
Take it easy.
You don't have to spell it.
Hi, Frank. Right from where you are, can you tip those boxes over there?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's try it. Maybe it'll drive them out in the open.
All right.
Well, there he is.
Yeah. Looks pretty mean.
Black tomcat. The event was similar to several that had happened during the hunt for the Black Panther. During the 20-odd hours we've been looking for the animal, there had been several reports that seemed authentic enough to be checked out. All of them turned out to be false. By this time, there were over 300 officers engaged in the search. Frank and I went back to the office and put in a call to the telegraph company in an effort to find Clyde Havel. They checked through their files, but they were unable to find any record of any wires. We then put in a call to the California-Nevada border station in an attempt to get information. Yes, sir, that's right. Havel Amalgamated Combined Shows. What? Sorry. A, V Victor, I, L, L. Havel. Mm-hmm. Well, what we got, it should have come through Saturday the 13th. No, it might have been Sunday the 14th. You pretty sure about that, are you? Was it possible? All right, I understand. Okay, thank you. If anything turns up, will you call us? Friday, extension 2507. That's auto theft detail. Right. Thanks again. Bye.
How about it? They got a record of the show going through?
They never heard of it. We immediately put in a call to the authorities in Baker, California. We talked with members of the State Highway Patrol, and from them we obtained the information that there had been no stray animals captured in the vicinity during the past few days. The conversation with them lengthened the possibility that the story we'd gotten from Clarence Havel was a lie. We checked his house, but Havel wasn't there. From his neighbors, we obtained the name of his sister. 6:10 p.m. We drove out to the address, a two-family stucco duplex. We rang the bell and we waited.
Yes?
Miss Havel?
That's right. What is it you want?
The police officers. Frank Smith, my name's Friday.
Hello.
How do you do, ma'am?
What is it you want?
We'd like to talk to you about your brother.
Clyde?
No, ma'am. Clarence.
Mr. Friday, I've done what I can for him. If he's in trouble again, he's just going to have to go it alone.
What if we could talk inside?
Now, come on in.
Thank you very much.
What's he done this time?
Beg your pardon?
What's my brother done this time?
Does your brother own a circus?
Is this a joke?
No, ma'am. It's pretty serious, does he?
Sure. Big one. Havel's Amalgamated and Combined Shows. Travels all over the country. Animals, concessions, even got a man-eating black panther.
Yes, ma'am. That's one of the things we want to find out about.
Dandy?
You know the animal, do you?
Oh, Clarence's friends do. Talks about him all the time.
You know where the circus is right now?
Same place it's always been.
Ma'am.
Never been any place else.
Yeah.
In Clarence's head.
We continued to talk to Lillian Havel. From her, we got the background of the story. She told us that her brother had been a press agent for one of the larger carnivals, but that he'd been discharged several years before. Since that time, he talked of very little else but the day when he'd be able to start his own show starring Dandy, the man-killing Black Panther. She went on to tell us that he spent most of his time in the hills of the San Fernando Valley trapping small animals, preparing for the first tour of the carnival. We called the office and notified them. The search for the Black Panther was called off. 8:46 p.m. We left the duplex and we drove out the freeway to the valley. When we got to Havel's, he was sitting on the front porch reading. The monkey was still on his shoulder.
Hey, come back, huh?
Yes, sir.
Found Andy yet? Sure hope you come up with him. I hate to lose the main attraction. Ain't had any word of him yet, huh?
No.
He's a sly one, old Dandy. Sly. He knows if you find him, he'll go back in the cage. You just keep looking, though. He'll turn up.
Search has been called off, Havel.
Called off?
That's right.
You mean you quit looking?
That's right.
Well, you can't do that. You can't. Dangerous animal like that loose in the city, all the people in dire danger. You can't call off the posse.
Why don't you tell us about it?
What do you mean?
All right, Havel. Tell us why you did it.
Huh?
Why'd you report the panther being gone?
'Cause he was. Wanted to save all the people from dire danger.
Why don't you tell us the truth?
Huh?
We've checked your story. It's a pack of lies, you know it.
Now, just a minute. Ain't no man that says I tell lies. No man.
You say you got 2 telegrams from your brother, is that right?
Yeah, from Clyde.
Well, we checked with the telegraph company. We've got no record of any such messages.
Hey, it's a big company. They might have lost him.
No, I don't think they lost him.
Might have.
You told us the carnival truck went into Nevada, didn't you? Is that right?
Yeah.
We checked at the border. They don't know anything about the show.
Well, a lot of roads into Nevada. Maybe you called the wrong station.
Well, we talked to the right one.
Big truck, red and yellow. Havel's Combined Amalgamated Shows. Letters about this big on the side. The other letters got a picture of Dandy on the side. Mean you can almost count his teeth.
You told us the truck was registered in your name. DMV has no record of it.
Well, must be some mistake. It's got to be wrong.
We talked to your sister. She tells you don't have any kind of a show.
Lillian said that?
That's what she said.
You hear it, too?
Yes, sir.
Lillian told you I didn't have no show? Lillian told you that?
Want to get your coat, Hal?
Huh?
A little cold out tonight. You might need a coat.
We going someplace?
Yes, sir. We're going to have to take you downtown.
Why?
Well, you had half the city on a wild goose chase here. Caused a lot of people a lot of work. Turns out there was no reason for it. We're trying to find out why you did it.
Why?
Yes, sir.
You ever wanted anything bad, Sergeant?
What?
You ever wanted something so bad you'd almost taste it? Get to a point where you think about it so much, pretty soon it don't come over like a dream anymore. It's real. Honest and true real. You ever want anything like that?
I wouldn't know.
Well, that's the way it was with Havel's Amalgamated Combined Shows. That's the way it was. I was weaned on sawdust. Been around it all my life. The animals, sideshows, the alley, all of it. Been my whole life. When I left it, it seemed like I jumped into a big hole that didn't have no bottom. Wasn't anything to hang on to. Nothing to tie down to, you know?
Uh-huh.
Always I had in the back of my head that I could do it again. I was a good publicity man. Goody. Used to pack the Maine. Never no trouble getting the people in when I was there. When I left, I knew I'd be back. I knew it with my own show. Havel's Amalgamated Combined Shows, the biggest in the world. I guess I just got so that I believed it too much and lost the line between what's real and what I was dreaming.
Uh-huh.
Knew it this morning when you was out here. Remembered and tried to stop you from going on with it. Tried, and then there was that phone call where they'd found Daddy. Didn't seem right to stop things then. Just it didn't seem right.
All right. You want to get your coat?
Yeah. You going to take me downtown in the police car?
That's right.
Going to use a siren?
For what, sir?
Siren.
There's no reason for any siren.
Suppose not. Used to have sirens when I come to town. Me and the chief of police ride down the street. Siren going. Everybody knew I was in town. Big to-do. Everybody knew I was there. Things have sure changed.
Not very much.
Yeah, things have changed. People used to know I was in town.
They still do.
Clarence Neil Havel was held over for a sanity hearing in Superior Court. On recommendation of the court, appropriate action was taken.
Dragnet. The story of your police force in action is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
I get 10 a day and expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, the Lion's Eye, stand by for hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of the man who fought back.
There's a street crammed in between Wilton and Van Ness and Hollywood called Taft Avenue. It's a couple of blocks long. It only got there because the city planners had a few tons of cement left over from the Coliseum. On the corner, there's a gray building poking its way up through a crack in the pavement. That's where I live. Apartment K. 2 rooms with a connecting door to a broom closet. Oh, the place isn't much. A couple of chairs, a bed comes out of the wall. and a mattress that could pass itself off as a relief map of the high Sierras. Well, that's where I was the other night around 11, trying to catch some sleep. That's when my phone began making an impression. Turned out to be the Lion.
Hey, Regan, I'm glad I found you home. Are you alone?
What's the matter? Did you lose your voice?
Just a precaution. I got a hold of a good thing, and I don't want to lose it by indiscreet talk.
Well, then write me a letter.
We've just been hired. You start tonight.
It'll keep till morning.
Her name's Alice Lafarge. She can meet you in a bar called the Princess across the street from Pershing Square. Get going.
What's your trouble?
She'll tell you all about it when you get there.
Can't you tell me?
I haven't got the time right now, but there's nothing to it. I'd handle it myself if I didn't have a big deal on.
Flirting with widows in Pasadena, huh?
So I got a social engagement. It helps our business. Pays to be seen in high society.
And besides, the liquor's good.
You just get over to see the Lafarge dame. And give me a ring in the morning and let me know how you make out.
All right, lover.
Hey, Regan.
Huh?
What should I take to my Pasadena girlfriend? Flowers or candy?
You better take both. You're going to need all the help you can get. I threw on some clothes and I headed for town. My car found a parking lot off Olive, and I cut through Pershing Square to make it over to Hill. It was after midnight. A sailor was chasing a bow-legged Marine over the grass. He brought him down on about the 40-yard line. The Princess Bar showed up near the corner of 6th, a little place holding up 6 stories of granite. I went inside. A mustache was trying real hard on a piano. 200 pounds of bartender was moving a wet rag over the bar in slow motion. A girl was sitting on the far stool in a black purse with the initials ALF. Alice Lafarge. If you looked real hard, you could find her eyes. I gave up on her lips. I lowered myself onto the stool next to her. She looked tired, like a chorus girl on a Sunday morning.
Yes?
I'm Regan, international detective.
How do I know?
You will when you get the bill.
You're late, Mr. Regan.
Well, I didn't pick up any traffic tickets, if that's what you wanted.
Well, it doesn't matter. We have a few minutes yet.
What are we waiting for?
12:30. Can I buy you a drink, Mr. Regan?
You're calling it.
Bartender?
What'll it be, miss?
I'm not drinking. Serve the gentleman.
Scotch?
Bourbon and water.
Got some pretty tasty scotch, buddy.
Bourbon.
Just trying. I get a commission on the scotch.
All right, lady, now let's have it.
You live far from here, Mr. Regan?
About 20 minutes.
Well, you better run home and throw a change of clothes into a suitcase.
Out-of-town job?
No, but you'll need a change. Bring along a deck of cards and a thick book.
Anything else?
Call off any dates you may have. You're going to be out of circulation for the weekend. Here's an address at the hotel on North Figueroa. Get there as soon as you can.
You still haven't said anything. What's the job?
You'll find out when you get there.
I'll get tired of waiting. Come on, lady, let's open it up.
Hey, buddy, scotch. Hey, you leaving us, miss? Next one's free.
Thanks, anyway.
Okay.
I'll beat at you and take that scotch with you.
Okay. Drink it myself. I still get the commission.
All right, now come on, sis. Let's have the rest of it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Regan. That's all I can tell you now. Just be at that address as soon as you can.
As she slid off the stool and moved for the front door, I caught a view of her in the mirror. There was nothing there to make a guy want an encore. Sandy hair, short, thin body that you could have slipped into a mailbox. Well, she threw the door shut behind her. A couple of seconds ticked by, and I moved out after her. I made the street just in time to see her climb into a cab and start up 6th. That's when I spotted the red Austin with an Illinois license. With a Glen plaid sleeve sticking out of the left side, and that's all I got of the driver, except that he was doing a real bad tag job on the Lafarge girl. The North Figueroa address Alice Lafarge gave me turned out to be the Gladstone Hotel. A 2-layer pile of wood so old that the termites were getting indigested. A short guy with a shiny head was catching up on his reading in the lobby. He put down the seat catalog long enough to tell me that apartment 3B was upstairs in the back. A couple of knocks on the door, and Alice let me in. Sitting in the corner was a bush of gray hair and a white face. Turned out to be a man with a worried look, like an alligator in a handbag factory.
Shut the door, Alice.
Yes, Dad.
Thanks for coming, Regan.
I'll let you know later if you're welcome.
Take his things, Alice.
No, I'm going to hang on to him for a while.
Suit yourself, but your coat will get heavy in a few hours.
What says I'm going to stay that long?
Me? That's what you're hired for.
What else?
Well, lots of time to get to that. Let's get to know each other first.
You got a name?
I'm Bill Lafarge. Sort of fancy, but I like it.
Give me some more.
Not much more. Just an old joker with nothing left but a few years and a regular dud.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Regan, this isn't my real address. I just moved here.
Yeah, the rent's low.
That's not it. Bill Lafarge can handle more.
All right, you can skip the bank statement, mister.
Will you please try to be civil, Mr. Regan?
That's not what you hired me for.
It's okay, Alice. Can't say I blame him.
All right, then. Let's throw it in gear, huh?
Not much to your job, Regan. Just spend a weekend with me.
I've had better offers.
Yeah, I did too in my time. Well, it's the easy part of it.
You got something hard?
You stay awake the next 48 hours and keep looking at me.
Who's after you?
Nobody.
I figure different.
You could be wrong.
Shades down, lights out, Red Austin on a tag job.
What do you mean?
Plaid suit moved out after you when you left the Princess.
You sure you was following Alice?
Like you said, I could be wrong.
Get one thing straight, Regan. I never hire anybody to protect me. Bill Lafarge handles things like that himself. You're here as a witness.
What for?
Just in case somebody wants some testifying as to how I spent this weekend. All right. Now throw off your coat. Let's play a little cards.
Why not?
Alice, open the window. It's getting a little hot in here.
All right, Dad.
Take, gin money?
You're dealing.
How high do you want to play? 2 bits if you...
Shots came flying in from the alley and didn't stop until they caught Alice Lafarge. They blew her back into the room, and she did a full turn like a ballet dancer showing off. By the time her father and I got to her, it was all over. The old man straightened up and began mumbling something about Red Austin. I stepped for the phone. I put in a call to Sanducci at Homicide. He took down the story and promised to send out some company. And then I cradled the phone. That's when I knew I was alone with the girl. Old man Lafarge had hot-footed it out of the building like a super chief on a holiday weekend. Well, the boys from Homicide showed in a couple of minutes, and they had a few questions. I gave them what I had, and Sanducci tabled the rest until the next day. So I went home to relax. You know, the Lion could have made a good detective. He always finds me.
Regan, I'm not paying you to sit at home. Get your coat on and explain this.
What?
This newspaper story. There's a big lie in here about the Lafarge dame getting killed. Now, I know you wouldn't allow that to happen to one of our clients.
It was real hard, but I managed.
I give you a simple little job and you turn it into a murder. You getting a commission from Forest Lawn?
You got your hands full, too.
What do you mean?
Sanducci will be visiting you with a pocket full of questions.
I don't know nothing about a shooting. I was out in Pasadena all night playing a guitar, and I got a sore finger to prove it.
Now, you listen to me, big shot. You better start sniffing around and turn up a Red Austin with a plaid suit behind the wheel.
What else?
Get some information on Bill Lafarge, the girl's father.
Hey, what's that?
You know, I bet if we open it, we'll find out.
Well, I better get a move on. Just open the door a little bit, and I'll squeeze by. Hello, Lieutenant. Nice to see you, Sanducci.
Where's he going? To get in line for Notre Dame tickets. Why did you take up knocking, Sanducci, huh?
New directive went through the department. Show a little more courtesy.
You don't wear it well.
And I figure it's political. They're working on building up that gate for the next policeman's show.
Gotta put you on. You're worth a couple of laughs.
Yeah. I'll speak to the boys. How did you sleep last night, Regan?
Fine.
You shouldn't have. That murder should have given you nightmares.
There's always Ovaltine.
You know, some of the boys down at headquarters figure you know more about this shooting than you're saying.
Well, they made mistakes before.
No, I'm not saying. I feel like they do.
What do you want?
Who knocked off the Lafarge girl?
You're asking yourself.
Wrong answer.
How would you know?
She got it with a .45. What do you want?
You know what I own.
But I don't know about Lafarge.
The shot came in through the window. Even you can figure that.
He could have had help.
Talk to him.
I will when we pick him up. In the meantime, it's you and me.
You got nothing on me.
We found a roll of dough in a briefcase in the bottom bureau drawer. What was it doing there?
I don't know.
All right, Regan. Now let me give you a tip. The word's out Lafarge got a private war on. I don't want any more shooting, so I look at it this way. He's your client. I'm holding you responsible. And Regan.
Yeah?
Cada volta ne mangiare le soldi tutto tu paese, che sei un brutaliere stupido.
What's that mean?
Go find out. You're a detective.
find out. He slid out of the room, and I washed up and had a short breakfast at the corner drugstore and went through the morning paper. The Lafarge murder rated a lot of big type, and there was a picture of Alice right next to the weather report, slightly cooler. After the bottom showed my coffee cup, I went over to the Hollywood Library. The city directory gave William Lafarge an Orange Drive home address and occupation printer. The yellow phone book turned up a Lafarge Preston print shop on Santa Monica near La Brea. It was a small place, the color of stale peanut butter, and it was tucked in between a pet store and a beauty parlor. When I stepped inside the front door, the bell rang, and a couple of pair of tortoise shell glasses covering a couple of deep blue eyes looked at me. She was a brunette with light skin, and her voice sounded like it was diving for sponges. The print shop smell got lost in all that taboo.
Morning, sir. Can I help you?
I'm looking for Mr. Lafarge.
There's no Mr. Lafarge here.
Sign outside says there is.
It's an old one. Won't either one say it?
That's another chapter.
Come turn the page. I think you'd enjoy it.
You know, you ought to put out cards.
Mr. Preston says business has picked up immeasurably since I started working here.
Let's get back to Lafarge.
I told you he's not here.
Well, try Preston for me.
He's very busy.
They can spare a couple of words.
Now, wait a minute.
Look,
you can't go in there. I'm sorry, Mr. Preston. I told him you were very busy.
All right, Lois. Who are you?
My name's Regan. I'm with International Detective. I got some questions about your partner.
Of course. Please leave us, Lois.
See you later, soldier.
Cigar, Mr. Regan?
No, I won't be here that long.
And naturally, I'll be only too happy to tell you anything I can. It was such a shock reading about his poor daughter's death. A wonderful girl.
Lafarge said that.
Yeah, you'd say it, too, if you knew her. She was very good to him. Well, Mr. Regan, what specifically can I tell you?
The book calls this place Lafarge Preston. Somebody's missing.
Well, you see, Bill and I were in partnership for years. When he decided to pull out, I just planned to leave the name the same.
When did he go?
Just a few weeks ago.
They give a reason?
I don't know exactly. Implied he had enough money or was coming into some. I'm not sure. But it happened so sudden, left me a little short-handed. Still having trouble finding a first-class engraver to take his place.
I left him sitting there chewing a panatella, and I moved out fast like a sailor on shore leave. It was about 11 and getting warmer. I picked up my car and went home. It took me 10 minutes to track down Sanducci.
Yeah?
Regan.
What do you want me for? Fix a traffic ticket?
Look, I got something for you.
Make it good.
I've been talking with Preston down at the print shop.
Yeah?
Lafarge stepped out kind of fast carrying a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, he knew engraving. I figure you ought to take a good look at that money. It may turn up phony.
I'm not impressed.
All right, I gave it to you. Do what you want.
Look, we checked into the dough already. It's absolutely legit. Now give up, Regan.
Navy didn't.
Hello, Regan. She turn you down?
Who let you in?
Stranger in town. Just catching the sights.
Well, they're better outside.
Ease off, Regan. You don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, the name's a blank, but you drive a red Austin.
Yeah, it's not bad for a beginner. Hey, got a drink around?
Not for you, no.
If I were you, I'd show a little hospitality to an out-of-town boy.
Chicago. South Side, huh?
You're not being very nice.
You weren't invited.
But now that I'm here, that changes some things, huh?
What do you want?
A drink.
No sale.
Listen, fresh.
Get your hands off me, punk.
I'll go get 6. 45 always starts him.
Like it did Lafarge.
How about getting old Gus a drink, huh? Least thing it'll do is skip the water. You better fix one for yourself.
No, you're the type that drinks alone.
Oh, you better have one, Regan. It's going to be your last.
How do you figure?
Well, I look at it this way. A guy like me gets hired to do a job. Comes 2,000 miles for it, then pulls a boner.
Like knocking off the daughter instead of Lafarge, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Top that off with a witness sitting in the same room who spots my red Austin. Now, let me ask you something. Can I leave him around breathing good air? According to me, nah.
Knees knocked together and he caved in like arches on a fat man. 4 quick steps took me to the door and I looked down the hall. Nothing there. So I made it for the stairway and I looked down the spiral. An old guy was taking the steps 2 at a time and stuffing a gun into his overcoat pocket. It was Bill Lafarge.
You will You're listening to the story of the man who fought back. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Commissions are still available in the Army Nurse Corps. Graduate registered nurses between the ages of 21 and 45 may qualify for service with this fine organization. Nurses may request active or inactive status. Those on active status enjoy the same privileges as regular Army officers. Those on inactive status may continue their civilian nursing duties, but stand ready to serve in time of emergency. If you are interested in joining the Army Nurse Corps and believe that you qualify for a commission, apply to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. And now, back to the story of the man who fought back and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, things were moving kind of fast. The Lion sent me out to meet a girl named Alice Lafarge. She took me to her father, who wanted a bonded witness to be able to testify to his whereabouts that weekend. That's when a couple of shots came through the window and cut down the daughter. Before homicide put in an appearance, Bill Lafarge was gone, and he didn't show again until Gus killed Alice and then came to see me. And then there was a big roll of money and a print shop in the picture, but it was all out of focus. Well, I moved back into my apartment. The Chicago hood was still there, lying on my rug, and I picked up the phone to call Lieutenant Sanducci. I'd just gotten a couple of numbers out when I caught a familiar smell. It was a load of taboo, and it was packing a .32.
Put the phone down, Regan.
Why?
Because I'm asking you nicely. Put it down. Homicide can wait. Gus isn't going anyplace.
You got a plan, lady?
Mm-hmm.
Well, get back to that print shop and you'll stay out of trouble.
Mr. Preston's so nice. He gave me the afternoon off. I told him my mother got sick.
All right, lady. Tell me about it.
I'm looking for something.
Name it.
The ignition key to Gus's Austin. Now move over there and get it for me.
What's wrong with your car?
I ran out of gas. Move.
Okay.
Kick his gun away. Now try the overcoat pockets. Throw him.
All right. Good catch.
So they tell me. So long, Regan.
I put in a quick call to homicide, and then I waited a couple of minutes to give her a chance to get a head start. When I stepped out of the building, the red Austin was just turning a corner. I followed in my car. We wound up in Glendale. She pulled into a duplex driveway next to an empty lot, and I pulled in under a pepper tree up the street a ways. And then she got out and unlocked the trunk. She looked inside, ripped up the floor matting and then the boards. When she slammed the trunk shut, it figured that she didn't find what she was looking for. Well, 25 minutes later, I found the Lion sitting behind his desk down at the office. He had a bottle of beer in one hand and a package of Sen-Sen in the other. Spread out in front of him was a typewritten piece of paper that he'd just slipped out of his running. He had a puzzled look, like a little boy caught in a mixmaster.
Regan, where you been?
Around.
I've been looking all over for you. Sanducci's been calling in every 3 minutes.
What's he want?
The story on how Gus got laid out in your apartment.
Well, I'll drop him a note.
He wants it now.
He's got time. He doesn't come up for a pension for years. They turn up Lafarge yet?
No, but I turned up something. What would you say if I told you Lafarge did time once?
On a counterfeit rap?
How'd you know?
It figured. That Lois dame is scratching around for something.
The feds put him away for 10 years for making up some phony bonds or stocks or something like that.
Uh-huh. How's his daughter fit?
She waited for him till he got out and then tried to help him play it straight.
What'd you get on Gus?
Who cares about him?
Lois.
Lafarge wasn't in on that bond job alone.
Who else?
He had a partner, the guy who runs the print shop, Preston.
Yeah, you're doing better.
I figure it this way. Preston's got a new racket, and J. Edgar would be real happy to know all about it.
Yeah.
We're going to be the ones to tell him.
How much is the reward?
I don't even know if there is one.
Oh, stop it. When gold went up to $35 an ounce, you pulled your mother's teeth.
Regan, you're getting out of line.
And then you bawled her out for not having more cavities.
Now, you get over to Preston and have a talk with him.
Yeah.
Regan.
Yeah?
Remember, if we crack this thing, it'll mean more money in your pocket, too.
No room for it with your hand there already. I left him sitting there doodling dollar signs, and I went out into the street. It was turning evening. I picked my car out of the lot, and 30 minutes later, I stopped on the corner of Santa Monica and La Brea. The fog was rolling in by then, and the streetlights were trying real hard. I walked to the front door of the print shop. I shook it a little, but nothing gave, so I moved around to the back. The place inside was as dark as a saloon in Kansas, but somebody inside was handy with a gun. So I cracked the window with a rock, and I climbed inside. It smelled like target practice on a rifle range. Preston was curled up on the floor like a piece of wet tissue paper, and there were 2 holes in him. Well, the game wasn't over, but they were running out of players. I moved to the phone to call the police, and that's when I spotted Bill Lafarge. He was slumped down in a chair with a gun in his hand, and he looked tired. It took a lot of shaking to bring any words out of him. Hey, come on, Lafarge. Hey,
Stop shaking. I'm up. He dead?
Yeah?
Yeah, he was a bum.
Want to give me that gun?
Sure. You got a call into the cops?
No, not yet.
We'll use my car.
Any way you want it.
It don't matter much no more. Things go easy for some guys. Other guys get all the rocks.
You got a couple of answers?
Why not? Preston did a tie-in with a gambling syndicate out of Las Vegas. Some joker had a hot idea.
Keep going.
Counterfeit 20,000 New Year's Day bowl tickets and sell them on the open market at $5 plus.
That's big business at 100,000.
But I didn't take. Preston got sore because I wouldn't do the engraving and he got somebody else.
That doesn't add up to murder.
Yeah. Did when his head got working overtime worry and I had too many answers.
And he hired that Chicago boy with the bad eyes.
Yeah. He got my daughter by mistake.
Where are the bowl tickets?
Who cares?
How does Lois fit?
I don't know.
All right.
Front door is closer to my car. You drive, Regan. Oh, traffic makes me nervous.
Well, Lafarge was driving a Nash, and it was parked at a filling station. We fought the night traffic downtown to police headquarters and tore Sanducci away from his pinochle game. He sent a couple of boys out to clean up the print shop and then moved Lafarge into a room with a secretary to get the story on paper. I'd heard it before, so I started for home, but Sanducci had other ideas. He put me in a private little room with white walls, and he told me to wait. I thought maybe he'd gone on his vacation, but he finally came in.
Yeah, getting tired of waiting, Regan?
Do you care?
No.
You got something to say?
Maybe.
Well, then spit it out, because I got a date.
It'll keep.
Why are you holding it?
I had to do some checking.
You got all you need?
I didn't think so.
Well, you got it now.
Get still, Regan. I'm not ready to let you go.
Now, listen, Power. Just because you're wearing a badge inside that coat...
Shut up and listen to me. It took me 18 years to turn in those overstuffed shoes for thin soles. I'm not letting a two-bit detective tell me how to handle my business.
You could stand it.
You and that crummy boss of yours are licensed by the state of California, and we can lift it for acts detrimental to public welfare. We got a whole blotter full.
Tell that to the line.
I'm telling it to you. Now, that's all. Beat it.
Okay.
Oh, Regan.
Yeah?
One thing more. There's a big hole in Lafarge's story.
What do you mean?
Look at his gun.
Well, what about it?
Look at the caliber.
It's a .38.
That's not the weapon that killed Gus and Preston. You sure you don't own a .32?
Well, Lafarge was more used up than he figured. He couldn't tell where the dream left off and the murders began. Oh, the whole thing was a screwy picture, but the artist had a woman's touch. 25 minutes later, I pulled my car to a stop in front of a lemon-colored duplex out in Glendale. A high school boy, breathing hard, told me that the good-looking girl lived upstairs. I just hit the top of the landing when the door of her apartment opened and a couple of pieces of airplane luggage moved out. Her ticket didn't show, but it figured to be marked for Las Vegas. When Lois saw me, she looked kind of confused, like a penguin in Death Valley.
Regan.
Hey, your memory's good.
I wish you'd told me you were coming. I was dressed for it.
Oh, it's better this way. You're fixed for traveling.
What do you mean?
We'll talk about it inside, huh?
I'd like to. You know that, but I have a few things...
Come on, move it, lady.
Well, what's come over you?
What's inside the suitcase?
You can work that out yourself, Regan. You've been by a woman's shop.
Throw it open.
It'll embarrass you.
I'll take a chance. All right, now dump it over. Come on, sis, your time's running out. Oh, yeah, sure.
Preston had the tickets in an asbestos box hidden in the furnace. I finally turned them up. Regan, they're worth over $100,000.
Yeah, that's what Lafarge said.
I know where to unload them.
It won't do you any good.
What do you mean?
There's no P exit to hatch it. Come
on, don't scramble for that 32. It's out of reach.
Let go of me.
You threw those holes into Gus and Preston, figuring homicide had stick Lafarge with a rap, knowing he was out for revenge.
Let me go.
Even the old guy didn't know what was going on.
No, he didn't.
No, but ballistics did.
Regan.
Yeah.
This could mean a lot of dough to us, you and me. We form a partnership.
Yeah. Before it's getting damp.
Don't be a piker. Here's your chance to really turn into something.
Well, now you can check with me when you get out, lady, to see if I made it. Well, it all blew apart fast like an atom at Caltech. Sanducci came down and picked up Lois. She had herself a pretty good thing for a while. Preston could run off the phony bowl tickets, and all she had to do was to sell them. Even though murder got thrown in, she could have stayed clean if she hadn't got her gun calibers mixed. Well, Lafarge was walking the streets in a couple of hours, and the Lion was real happy the way things worked out. He got his picture in the Police Gazette and picked up 2 bona fide passes to the Rose Bowl game. He promised to take me to the game with him. He did. He let me have the ticket at the regular price.
Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan with Herb Butterfield as Anthony J. Lyon. It's CBS at the same time next week for more hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Written by Larry Roman, produced by Sterling Tracy. Alice was played by Lorette Bilbrandt. Charles Steele was Preston. Ken Christie was Lafarge. Jack Petruzzi was Sanducci. Yvonne Tatey was Lois. And Sidney Miller was Gus. 29,000 nurses are needed now to join the new Army Nurse Corps Officers Reserve. For the first time in history, qualified nurses have the opportunity of receiving commissions in the regular Army Reserve. These nurses will remain on inactive status, ready to serve their country in time of emergency. 4,000 of them, if they wish, may choose active duty. All nurses who receive commissions will benefit from the opportunity for specialized training offered to them by the Army. Inactive reserve status will not interfere with the nurse's civilian life, but the educational opportunities offered her by the Army Medical Department will be of great advantage in her work. So don't wait. If you're a registered graduate nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, drop a card for complete information to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. Original music for this program is by Milton Charles. Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. A special officer has been shot during a routine patrol. His assailants have escaped into the city. There's no lead to their whereabouts. Your job, find them.
It was Saturday, May 21st. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith, the boss of Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from the scene, and it was 10:56 p.m. when we got to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. Treatment room.
That's you, Doctor?
No, ma'am, police officers. Doctor said we could ask you some questions.
About the robbery?
Yes, ma'am. It's my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hello, Miss Montgomery.
You heard anything about Keith? Is he all right?
Well, the doctor's still with him.
Is he going to be all right?
We better talk to the doctor about that, I think.
He tried to stop the men from robbing us. Tried to throw him out of the store.
Yes, ma'am. Now, can you tell us what happened?
Well, I guess so. If the doctor said I could.
Well, anytime you don't feel like going on, just tell us, please.
All right.
What time did the man come into the store?
About 9:30, right around in there.
Yeah.
Keith and me were sitting in the back room playing cribbage. We usually play a couple of games before we close up.
especially when business is kind of slow.
Uh-huh.
These two men came in. Keith went out to wait on them.
Did you go with him?
No, wasn't any reason to. Just two customers, no reason for me to go out. Looked like they came in together.
You could see him from where you were, huh?
Oh, yes. We had the card table set up right in the doorway of the back room.
All right, ma'am. So I can go on?
Well, Keith went out and asked them what they wanted.
Yeah.
One of them said he wanted a bottle of vodka. Keith asked him what kind, and the man said it didn't make any difference. Said he wanted 100 proof, though.
Uh-huh.
Keith got the bottle off the shelf and came back. Told the man how much the bottle was, and that's when the other man pulled out the knife.
They say the second man drew the knife.
That's right. Short fella. Had this kind of knife with a spring blade where you push a button and the blade snaps out. You know how?
Yes, ma'am. Did the men know you were in the back room?
He must have. All he had to do was look through the door, and they'd have seen me. I wasn't trying to hide.
All right. Feel like going on?
Yes. The doctor gave me some kind of pill. It makes me a little numb, but I feel all right.
All right. You can please go ahead. Now, what happened after they pulled this knife?
Well, the short one told Keith to give him the money. Said it was a holdup.
Could you remember his exact words?
Oh, I don't know. Seems he said, "All right, old man, this is a stick-up. Put all the money in the register in a paper bag and don't cause any trouble." That's as near as I can remember. That's what he said.
All right. What happened then?
Well, Keith told him to get out of the store. Said the two of them were too young to get mixed up in that kind of foolishness. Told him to get right out.
Yeah.
Little fella, the short one with the knife, grabbed Keith and told him they weren't playing games, but if he knew what was good for him, he'd do like he was told. Had the knife right at his chest, but he was going to cut Keith.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I came out of the back room when I thought they were going to hurt Keith.
All right. You go on, please.
Yes. I want to get this over and tell you what you need to know so you can catch the fellas.
All right, ma'am. What happened when you came into the store?
Well, I tried to get the men out of the place, told them that if they knew what was good for them, they'd leave right then.
Uh-huh.
Might as well have been talking to a wall. They didn't pay any attention to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's when I tried to get to the phone. I wanted to call the police.
What was your husband doing at this time?
Standing there trying to keep from moving into the knife. This short little fellow had it pressed right against his chest. Had the point right here. Keith made any kind of a move, he'd have been stabbed. When they saw me go to the phone, the tall one grabbed me and hit me with his fist closed. Hit me about as hard as he could. As soon as he did that, Keith seemed to go crazy. Wrenched himself away from the one with the knife and jumped on the tall man and fought him as hard as he could.
Yeah.
Terrible the way it happened.
Yes, ma'am.
The tall man hit Keith along the neck with the edge of his hand and knocked my husband down. Then the little fellow jumped on him, held his knife right at his throat and told him to take the money and put it in a bag, that he didn't want any more trouble or he'd kill us both. All the time he had the knife right here at Keith's throat.
Yes, ma'am. Your husband did what they said?
That's right. He opened the register and gave him the money, put it in a paper bag. I thought they'd leave after that, but they didn't. Only made it madder.
Why was that, you know?
It wasn't enough money, only about $30 or $35. They said we had more in the back room, and they wanted that, too. Said for us to get it or they'd kill us.
Well, did you get it for them?
Yes. I went back and took it out from where we hid it, handed it right over.
Mm-hmm.
What did the doctor say about Keith? He must have said something.
Frank, would you check with Dr. Sebastian, see what's going on in there?
Yeah, I will.
Would you go on, please?
After they got the other money, the two men left the store. Put the cash in the paper bag and walked out. Said for me to stay still for 5 minutes or they'd come back and kill Keith and me.
Mm-hmm. When did the special officer come into the store?
We didn't.
Ma'am?
He drove up when we were arguing with the men on the sidewalk, and after they left the store, Keith got up and ran after them, tried to hold him.
Well, did the officer know what was going on?
No, not at first. He thought it was just an argument. When he walked up, Keith tried to tell him that the store was being robbed, but the tall robber said it was just a personal fight. Said it didn't concern anybody else but Keith and him.
Were you on the sidewalk at the time?
Yes, right beside Keith.
I see.
Robert said that Keith was just an old crackpot trying to cause trouble, that the officer should forget about it.
Yeah.
I guess it didn't sound very good to him because he said it'd be better if Keith and the men talked to a policeman. That's when the tall hold-up man grabbed the gun and shot.
At the officer?
Yes. He grabbed the gun out of his holster and shot him in the stomach.
What happened then?
The smaller of the two stabbed Keith a couple of times, and both of them ran down the street.
Did you see where they went?
Yes. They got into a car that was parked about a half a block away. Jumped into the car and left.
All right, Miss Montgomery, just a couple more questions now. Did either of the two men use a name at any time?
What do you mean?
Well, when they were talking to each other, did they use a name of any kind? Do you remember?
Yes. When they shot the officer, the big one, he did the shooting. He said, "Come on, Hank." Let's get out of here. Like that, he said it.
I see. Now, was there anything outstanding about the two men that you can remember? Anything that would make them easier for us to identify?
Oh, I can't think of anything right off. Just that one was tall and the other one was short. That's all I can think of.
About how tall, do you remember?
The big one?
Yes.
Oh, over 6 feet. I'd say he was about 6'3", maybe even more.
Mm-hmm. Did he have any special marks or scars that you can recall?
No, nothing like that.
Now, how about the short one? Anything to make it easier for us to identify him?
Just his fingernails.
How do you mean?
They looked like he'd never cleaned them. Real long and dirty. I remember that.
Was there anything else?
No.
Did either of them speak with any kind of an accent, would you remember?
No. Sounded just like anybody else. Nothing special about him.
I see.
Joe?
Yeah, Frank?
See you a minute.
Did you find out about Keith? Did you talk to the doctor?
He'll be right in to see you, Miss Montgomery.
Is Keith going to be all right? Why don't you tell me what's happening?
Try to take it easy, ma'am. The doctor will be right in.
All right, but time to hurry, please, please.
Yes, we'll do that. Did you call county?
Yeah. They're operating on Holman.
How's he doing?
Well, as soon as they get the bullet out, he should make it. Wound's not serious.
What about Keith Montgomery?
He just died. Knife wound.
The story we'd gotten from Irene Montgomery was pretty much the same as Special Officer Kenneth Holman had given us. Immediately after the robbery, a local and an APB had gone out on the suspects. In canvassing the neighborhood, the investigating officers had found 2 eyewitnesses to the shooting stabbing. A man and a woman had been parked in an automobile directly across the street from the Montgomery store. They had been able to give us a description of the car that the suspects had driven away from the scene, along with the last 3 numbers on the license plate. While Frank and I had been talking to Mrs. Montgomery, Officers Benson and Herman from Robbery Detail had been going through the Department of Motor Vehicle records looking for the owner's name. Information on the method of operation used in the crime was sent to the stats office, and the run was started. The moniker file at R&I was checked for a suspect with the nickname Hank, who matched the description of the smaller thief. The 2 eyewitnesses were brought into the city hall to go through the mug books for a possible identification. While Frank went to the office to check with Benson and Herman, I worked with the witnesses.
No. Not on this page.
How about here?
No, I don't see him here either.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. This fellow here, see?
This one?
Yeah, it's not the hold-up man, but he's got the same kind of ears. Close to his head like... Yeah, same kind of ears.
You're sure it's not the man, though?
Just got ears like him.
All right, Mr. Steele, would you go on, please, here?
Mm-hmm. I remember those ears. I used to go to school with a kid that had ears like that. Junior high school.
Yes, sir.
He's a mean kid. I'll never forget him. He's real mean. I guess I thought of him for at least 15 years. Never forget him, though. Mean.
Yes, sir.
He waited for me after school once. I had a big fight. I don't even know what it was about. Big fight. He really beat me up.
Yes, sir.
Sure like to meet him now. It'll be a different story.
Yes, sir. Now, how about right here? Do you see either of the suspects on these pages?
No picture in this book. You got another one?
Yeah, I get it. All right.
Say, how many more got of these things, anyhow?
Quite a few. You can see them right here on the shelf.
You want me to go through all of them?
Well, we'd like to have you check the pictures, yes, sir.
That's going to take a while.
You and your wife are the only 2 people who can give us an identification.
Well, how about the woman who was held up? What's her name, Mrs. Holman?
No, Montgomery. Holman was the officer who was shot.
Yeah. What about Mrs. Montgomery? Can't she tell you about the robbers?
She's under the care of her doctor. Her husband died, you know.
What, from being stabbed?
Yes, sir, that's right.
That's too bad. We didn't know what it was all about, you know?
Yes, sir.
Me and Harry were just sitting there. All of a sudden, there's this fight and a shot. We didn't know what the frakes was.
Yes, sir. Now, what if we can go on with the books here?
Oh, yeah.
Now, how about right here?
No, not here.
All right.
Say, he's mean. What'd he do?
Robbery.
Yeah, you can tell. Look at the face. You can always tell.
Yes, sir.
No, I don't see him here. Perry.
Sir?
Perry Nicholson. That's the guy's name. One with the close ears. I remember it now. Hadn't thought of it. 15 years. Perry Nicholson.
Bully. Yes, sir.
Sure like to meet old Perry now. It'd be a different story if he wanted to fight now. Oh, different story.
Yes, sir.
Joe.
Yeah.
A hold-up car.
Yeah.
I just found it abandoned.
Two officers in the radio unit had found the car in a parking lot at the corner of Rosemont Avenue and Waterloo. When the vehicle was discovered and the similarity to the description that had been broadcast was noticed, the car was put under surveillance and our office had been notified. Frank and I left the city hall and drove out to the parking lot immediately. The car was placed under surveillance again, and we checked it through DMV. We found the car was owned by an Edwin Vargas, 1879 Moss Street out in Burbank. We checked the name through R&I, but we found that he had no criminal record in our file. We drove out to see Vargas. While Frank covered the rear of the place, I rang the bell of the house and waited.
Yeah?
Like to see Mr. Vargas?
Well, he's not in right now. Anything I can do?
You know where he is?
No, I imagine he got held up downtown, probably working late.
Where would be all right if I wait for him?
I'm not sure. You mind telling me who you are?
Sorry. Police officer. My name's Friday.
What'd the cops want Ed for?
Might be better if we talk to him.
You alone?
Anybody else in the house, ma'am?
No.
Your husband owned a 1953 dark blue Ford sedan?
Yes?
He's driving it tonight, is he?
Well, sure. He took it to work with him this morning.
All right. Might be better if I waited inside, huh?
All right, come on in. I don't know what this is all about, but you can bet it's some kind of mistake. Ed's never had no trouble with the cops. Never. None.
Where's that door lead over here?
Bedroom.
All right, if I take a look?
Well, go ahead. You ain't going to find anything.
What's that over there, the bathroom?
Yeah?
All right, just a one bedroom?
No need for any more. Me and Ed don't have any children.
Kitchen this way?
Yeah. Say, if you're looking for something, maybe if you'll tell me what it is, I can help you.
You just want to check the house, ma'am. Is this all there is to the house?
I told you we don't need any more room.
Let me see. Just unlocking your back door, ma'am. My partner's out there. Hi, Frank.
See you here?
No,
Who is this, another cop?
This is my partner, Frank Smith, Miss Vargas.
Hello.
Seems to me you should be able to tell me what this is all about, Mr. Friday.
Can you give us a description of your husband?
Why?
It might help us to get him out of trouble, maybe.
He's in no trouble. You got something on your back and you're trying to dump it on Ed, and it isn't going to work.
You want to give us a description?
What do you want to know?
How tall is your husband?
6'3",
How old?
32.
What color is his hair?
Kind of sandy. Look, what is this, a third degree? What are you trying to prove with all these
We
questions?
just want to get at the truth, ma'am.
It's a kind of hard way to do it, if you ask me.
Well, I'm sorry for causing you any trouble.
You are.
Where does your husband work?
He's a salesman.
Who for, ma'am?
Insurance company downtown.
Usually work this late?
No, I told you that.
But you think he's at work tonight?
Yes?
Well, you wouldn't mind if we called him, would you?
I'm not going to have you causing him any embarrassment.
Well, don't worry about it, Miss Vargas. Would you like to give us the number?
It's in the phone book. Look under emergency numbers.
We'll make the call, Frank.
Yeah.
Look, what do you think he's done?
Police business, ma'am.
I'm his wife. I got a right to know.
It'll be better if we talk to him, I think.
That's what you say.
Your husband ever been in trouble with the police before?
Not that I know of.
How long you lived here?
You mean in California?
That's right.
I was born here.
How about your husband?
He's been here a couple of years.
Where's he from?
New York State.
Where in New York State?
A little place right outside of Utica.
Ever been in trouble back there, would you know?
Well, if he was, he didn't say anything to me about it.
How long has he had the job?
Since a week after he came out. Ed's a smart guy. He'd have no trouble getting work.
How about it?
I talked to the building superintendent.
Yeah.
He says Vargas left at 5:30 this afternoon.
The description of the owner of the car used in the holdup, coupled with his absence, made him a prime suspect in the robbery. We continued to talk to his wife. She gave us some of the background on Vargas. She told us that they'd only been married a little over a year, and that they were still trying to pay off the debts that her husband had incurred before their marriage. She went on to say that in the last few days he'd been depressed about their finances, and that on that morning, Vargas had said he'd figured a way out for them. Frank called the office, and the broadcast was gotten out asking if the man be picked up and detained for questioning. 1:15 a.m. We asked Mrs. Vargas about her husband's friends.
Isn't anyone Ed's real close to?
Well, is there one man he's with more than the others, would you know? Maybe somebody he works with.
No. Unless maybe it's Vic. Ed don't have much to do with him, though. He knows I don't care for him. Don't like to have him around.
Who's that, man?
Vic Noble. He works in the same office as Ed.
And what's he look like?
Oh, not much. Little guy, kind of nondescript. Never did figure out he could be a good salesman. I'd never buy anything from him. Honestly, it makes me nervous just to have him around.
Yes,
oh, excuse me.
Yes, go right ahead. If it's your husband, it might be better if you didn't tell him we were here.
All right. Hello? Yeah, honey, where you been? What? Well, do you know when? Uh-huh. Well, did you call the police? Well, you should have called them right away. Yeah. No, I'll drive right down and pick you up. You wait right there. Uh-huh. Well, right away. That's right.
Well, look, tell me where it is. Oh, yeah, I know. Turn left, yeah. All right, I'll find it. You wait right there, will you? All right, goodbye. Bye. That was Ed.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find yourself another boy.
Yeah.
Well, whatever this is, it has something to do with Ed's car, doesn't it?
That's right.
And then you're all wrong about Ed. He couldn't have had anything to do with
What
it.
do you mean?
Ed's car was stolen tonight.
We got the address of the bar where Ed Vargas had called from. Frank and I drove down and talked to him. He told us that he'd left work and stopped in the bar for a couple of drinks before he went home. However, when he left the place, he found that his car was gone. He returned to the bar and spent the next several hours trying to figure out what to do. We talked to the bartender, and he verified Vargas' statement that he'd been in the place all evening. He was released from custody and allowed to return home. Frank and I continued to talk to the bartender.
Got to get ready to close up pretty quick.
Just a couple more questions.
Will you mind if I clean up the back bar while we talk?
No, sir. Go right ahead.
Thanks. Well, what do you want to know?
You told us that Vargas came in about 5:45, is that right?
Near as I can remember, yeah. Give or take a couple of minutes on either side.
But he was here before 7.
For sure.
You meet anybody here?
How far is this going to go?
What do you mean?
Is his wife going to find out if I tell you?
Not from us.
Well, Ed and the missus haven't been getting along so good lately. You know, been beefing a lot.
Yeah.
Ed's a funny guy. He don't like no trouble at home. As soon as Sarah started giving him problems, he found another girl, a kid that works in his office. They usually drop in here for a couple of drinks before he goes home.
Yeah.
Nothing serious going on with them. Just they like to sit and talk. Ed's all the time telling her how this wife doesn't understand him. Old line, but I think he means it.
He was in here with a girl tonight, was he?
Yeah, just like all week. Every night they come in about 5:15, sit in the back booth, have a couple of martinis, and then they leave. I think maybe Ed drops her off on the way home. She don't have a car.
Yeah.
Tonight they had more than just a couple of drinks. I think maybe there was something wrong, you know, a little problem.
What about?
Look, people come in here to relax. They all got something on their minds. I make it a practice not to eavesdrop or interfere.
What was their problem, do you know?
Sarah won't hear it?
No, we told you before.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't want her to come around here causing no beef. She's jealous, you know, real jealous.
That so?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, Ed must have told the girl that he was thinking of leaving his wife, because tonight she told him to do something about it or she was walking out. Had a little kind of tiff, and then she left. After that, he went out to get the car and found it been stolen.
Where did he leave it, do you know?
A lot behind the building.
Did he leave the keys in the car?
I don't know. You saw him when he left, carrying a big load. He don't remember. Probably did, though.
You have anybody else in here tonight that looked like Vargas?
What do you mean?
Well, as tall as he was, maybe.
A lot of tall people come in here.
Yes, we understand. Were there any tonight?
A couple, yeah.
Any of them come in with a short fellow, about 5, 6, or 7?
Yeah.
What time did they come in?
Oh, about a little after 7.
When did they leave?
Well, I don't know. Maybe 7:30, 8:15. I'm not sure. There's one of the tables back there. I served them a couple of times. Didn't take much notice when they left. They paid for the drinks when I brought them. Left a $50 tip. Took off.
They come in here regular, do they?
Yeah, a couple times a week, maybe more.
They usually together?
Oh, I've never seen them any other way except once. I'd rather not remember that time.
What do you mean?
Came in here early, spent the whole night here boozing, got pretty plastered. I had to take Nick home. He couldn't make it alone.
Which one is Nick?
The short one, little guy.
What's he do for a living?
Nothing I ever heard of.
Well, how does he live?
Any way he can. Always seems to have dough. I think maybe some kind of gambler, something like that. Always loaded. The way he looks, though, you'd think he was some kind of mechanic, but he's not.
Is that right?
Sure, he dresses nice. Always got a good suit on, but he doesn't know how to carry it off.
What do you mean?
His fingernails. I don't think he ever cleans them.
We got complete descriptions of the two men. They matched those of the thieves perfectly. The bartender closed the place and took us down the street to a hotel where he said he'd taken Nick Roxford. We talked to the desk clerk, but we found that Roxford had moved several months before. By checking with some of the people in the hotel, we got a forwarding address for him. It was a cheap rooming house down on South Pico. Frank and I went by the city hall and ran the name through R&I. We found that Roxford had an arrest record for petty theft in ADW. He'd served a term in the county jail and was at present under the jurisdiction of the court. His mugshot was pulled and taken out to the witnesses for identification. We checked with the manager of the boarding house, and we found that Roxford and a Henry Larson were registered in one of the rooms. In the company of the manager, we went up to the room, but the pair wasn't in. We contacted the office and told them where we were. They told us that Roxford had been positively identified as one of the hold-up men. We settled down to wait for the suspects to come back. 3:30 a.m., 4, 5, 5:15 a.m.
Sounds like somebody's coming.
Well, there wasn't no other way. You was there, didn't see you do nothing to stop it. You shot the cop.
I still think so.
All right, hold it right there.
What are you doing here?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
Watch it, Frank.
Get up.
They made it kind of rough, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
All right, come on. Get up. Come on. Get on your feet. Now, let's take them downtown.
Yeah. I better check the cuffs. Don't want them too tight.
No, you might hurt them, huh? Two suspects were taken downtown to the interrogation room. Henry Larson was handcuffed to the chair in robbery while Frank and I talked to Nick Roxford.
It's a bad beef. I know it. You guys are going to find out.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Ain't going to tie no robbery rap to me.
Look, we've already done it. The witnesses gave us a positive identification on you.
How could they? They never seen me.
We got a picture of you. It's pretty good.
You want to tell us about it?
I got nothing to say. I want a lawyer. I ain't going to talk till I see a lawyer.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you know the old man died?
I don't know nothing about no old man.
His wife says you're the one who stabbed him.
She's crazy.
She's willing to take it to court.
It'll never stick.
We think it will.
We think we can make you for first degree.
What about Hank?
Who, Larson?
Yeah, what happens to him?
Same charge.
You know it yet?
Well, you're the first one to hear.
What if I give you a hand?
How do you mean that?
Well, suppose I tell you it was Hank's idea, the whole thing. Go any better with me?
You know we don't decide that.
Well, it seems like if I helped you, you'd be better with me.
All right, you want to tell us about it?
I'll make you a deal.
No deals.
Look, just promise me you won't tell Hank if I give you the real story, huh?
All right, go ahead.
Well, the whole thing was his idea right from the start. He cased the store. The whole thing was his idea.
What about the car?
Well, that was Hank's, too. He spotted it, said it'd make a good deal. You check the car, you'll find his prints all over it.
All right, what happened after that at the store?
Oh, it was Hank again. I didn't want no part of it. Hank made me. Said if I backed out, he'd get me. He's a big man. He gets mean when he's crossed. I wasn't about to give him no trouble.
Go ahead.
Well, we got to the place, and he made me go in. He made me take a piece of the action.
Now, wait a minute. Let's back up here and get this straight. You trying to tell me all the time you wanted no part of it?
No. No, you got to believe it.
Well, the way we got it, you were having a time with a knife.
Well, I got scared. That's all. I got scared. I didn't know what I was doing.
Sure you did.
Look, you got to believe me. I'm telling the truth. It was all Hank's idea. The whole thing. I want no part of it. Never did.
All right, just keep your voice down, will you?
I told you. Now, you know about the whole thing. You won't tell Hank, will you?
What difference does it make?
He finds out I told you, he'll kill me.
Remember I asked you before?
Huh?
What difference does it make?
Henry Taylor Larson and Nicholas John Roxford were tried and convicted of murder in the first degree. On recommendation of the jury, they received maximum sentence and were executed in the lethal gas chamber at the state penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
Dragnet is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant.
You're assigned a narcotics detail. The body of a man has been found in a public park lake. Physical evidence indicates he was killed by narcotics. Your job? Check it out.
It was Monday, July 9th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of narcotics detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Shy. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:23 a.m. when we got to room 42. Homicide.
That's right. Mm-hmm. You got a name on him? Yeah. Hi, Joe. Frank.
Oh, yeah.
Be right with you. Yeah? What's the spelling on that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll check it out. Right. I'll call you back. Mm-hmm. Bye.
Jack, how's it going?
Pretty good. With you?
Well, it doesn't do much good to kick.
Yeah, it never worked for me.
What you got for it?
Wait a minute, I'll get the pictures.
All right.
We got it late Saturday night. Just got the results of the autopsy this morning. Thought maybe you and Frank would be interested. Here, let me clear the table.
What is it?
Oh, here. The way we got the story goes together like this. A couple of kids on their way home from a late show walked through MacArthur Park. Must have been about 10:30.
Yeah.
Stopped by the side of the lake for a minute, and they saw something in the water. Went down to check it and found the body of a man.
Yeah.
Here's a picture where we found him. Mm-hmm. Contacted the park authorities, and they called the police. Felony car answered, and they called us.
Uh-huh. You know who he is?
No ID on him. Made him through his prints. Name's Walter Gilmer. Appears to be his true name. Got several aliases.
How about his background?
Been picked up for just about everything in the code. Copy of his arrest record.
Yes, thanks. Your first arrest when he was 14.
Yeah. Been piling him up ever since. He added up, he spent over half his life in prison.
Mm-hmm.
The way it looks, he died someplace else.
How do you figure that, Jack?
Oh, here. This is a picture taken of the path leading to the lake.
Yeah.
See here, the tracks?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he was dragged down the gravel path and then dropped into the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See there, Joe?
Yeah. What killed him?
Yeah, had us for a while. No evidence of violence that could have done it. In his record, there are half a dozen people in town who'd like to take care of it.
Yeah.
Copy of the autopsy report.
Mm-hmm.
That'll explain why we thought you might want a piece of it.
Yeah.
Died of narcotics poisoning.
We went over the dead man's effects without coming up with any additional information. From the report of the coroner's office, we knew that Gilmer had died of narcotics poisoning. We were not able to tell the type of the narcotics used, but it was listed as either heroin or morphine. During the past 3 months, the Southland had been flooded with an inferior grade of heroin. From chemical analysis, we knew that it was being processed in Mexico. We'd been in touch with Mexican authorities, but in spite of our joint activities, the drug continued to cross the border and it continued to be circulated. Arrests of mules and pushers had been made. Suspects had been interrogated, and all other leads had been checked out, but we were still unable to come up with the key people in the operation. The death of Walter Gilmer gave us a possible lead. We couldn't be sure that he died of the low-grade drug, but it was worth looking into. Working with Sergeants Jack McCready and Danny Galindo of Homicide Detail, we pulled Gilmer's package and we went over all of the available information on him. We made out a list of his known friends and his associates. All of the places he was known to frequent were checked. For the next 2 days, anyone who had been seen in Gilmer's company was talked to. Apparently, we were at a dead end. Thursday, July 12th, 11:14 a.m., Frank and I got back from talking to an informant. There was a note in the book to call McCready. McCready there? Yeah. Oh, Jack, Joe Friday. Mm-hmm. Well, where's he now? No, we'll be right over. Thank you.
What's he got?
One of Gilmer's friends.
Yeah?
Says he was with Gilmer when he died. Frank and I left the Central Police Station and walked over to the City Hall. By the time we'd gotten there, McCready had pulled the suspect's package and had what background information there was on the man. The three of us talked to him in the interrogation room.
For the record, what's your name?
David Flack.
How old are you?
26.
That's still your address?
Yeah. How well did you know this Walter Gilmer?
We roomed together.
How long?
A couple of years.
According to your package here, you've had several arrests for being a user, is that right?
You got the paper.
Told us you were with Gilmer when he died.
Now, look, there you go again.
What?
I said I was with him when he was sick, that's all. We got together Saturday night, had dinner, and Walt didn't feel so good. He shoved off, said he was going home and get some rest. It's the last time I saw him. He went home to get some rest.
Go ahead.
With what? There ain't no more to say. You guys asked me, remember?
We talked to the manager of your apartment house.
Real goof, ain't she?
She said you and Gilmer came in together Saturday night. Puts the time about 8:30.
Says the two of you stayed there till about 9:30. Then she heard you come out of the elevator with Gilmer.
She's got real big ears.
That's what she says. Goes on to tell us that she went to the door of her apartment, looked out into the hall. Says she saw you carry Gilmer out of the apartment building.
I carried Walt out?
That's what she says.
You know how big Walt is?
We got an idea.
Well, you know I couldn't carry him any place. God weighs me about 50 pounds. I ain't that strong.
The landlady's willing to testify to it.
Yeah, she talks a lot.
She's going to talk you right into the joint. We find Gilmer an hour later dead. You're the last person seen with him. Fit you real good, Flack. From here, it looks like you're right for a 187 charge.
You figure you can nail me down for murder, huh?
It's worth a try.
Yeah, but can you make it go?
We think so.
Now, one thing's going to louse it up.
Yeah?
I didn't do it. I had no part in it. None.
You better tell us then, huh?
If I give it to you, it'll make a difference?
Depends on the words. Go ahead.
Where do I start?
The beginning will do.
Yeah. I guess Saturday afternoon's as good as any.
We'll listen.
Old Walt got himself a new connection, said it was a good one.
For heroin?
Yeah. Got a good buy and a couple of bindles, said it was a real good deal.
You know where?
No, he wouldn't tell me. He just said it was his and that when I needed some stuff, he'd set it up for me.
You're on H2, huh?
Yeah, why lie to you? A couple of days in the tank will bring it out anyway. Yeah, I'm swinging a pretty good habit.
How much?
Shooting 3 a day.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, Walt had a fix about 4 in the afternoon. We were going out for dinner, and Walt said he had enough H so he could take one for free.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we went out and got something to eat. Walt didn't eat much, said he felt way out, didn't hardly eat at all.
Yeah?
Went back to the apartment, sat around, talked. Tried to get him to tell me where he made the connection. He just laughed and said it was the best thing he ever fell into.
Didn't he give you any idea?
No, not a smell.
All right.
Well, pretty soon he said he didn't feel so good. I thought maybe he needed another pop. I asked him if he wanted me to cook it for him. He said no. Said he just wanted to get some air. Told me he couldn't breathe too good. Just lay there on the bed grabbing for air.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him if he wanted me to call a doctor, get somebody up there to fix him. He looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
He told me he didn't want anybody, just to leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
About an hour later, I checked with him, and I wanted to see if he felt any better. He was dead.
You took him out of the apartment then?
Yeah, I got scared. I didn't know what had happened, but I could see you guys laying it on me.
What'd you do?
Took him out to the park, got him in the back seat of the car, and took him out there. Sat in the car for about 15 minutes waiting for a couple of kids to leave. They were sitting on a bench near there talking. I had to wait for them to leave.
Yeah.
After they'd gone, I dragged Walt down the water and dumped him in the lake.
What about his identification?
Took it out of his pocket. Figured he'd give me a couple of days to try and grow an alibi. Figured it'd take that long for you to find out who he was.
You just left him in the lake then, huh?
Yeah. Drove back to the house and tried to figure what to do. Think of somebody who'd go me an alibi.
You haven't got any idea where Gilmer made the connection, huh?
No.
You know where he went Saturday afternoon?
No, he left the place about 10 in the morning. I didn't see him until about 3 or maybe 3:30. He was holding pretty good then, real happy, laughing it up all over the place. Oh, Walt, he had a real good laugh when he was feeling good. Gee, I still can't get it straight that he's dead.
Gilmer have any close friends that you know of?
Couple, not more than that.
Want to give us their names?
I guess, as long as they don't find out.
Did you meet any new people he told you about?
If he did, he didn't say nothing. I'm sorry, I'd sure like to help you. It's a lousy trick making Walt think he was getting such a good deal and having it turn out like this. It's a lousy deal.
Mm-hmm.
He was real happy because he thought he scored real big, got it real cheap. Told me he hardly paid anything for it.
Well, he had it wrong, didn't he?
Huh?
He was overcharged. We continued to talk to David Flack. From him, we got additional names of people Walter Gilmer had dealings with. We also got the addresses of bars and restaurants the dead man was known to have frequented. In our interrogation of Flack, he was unable to give us any lead as to where Gilmer might have bought the lethal narcotics. Thursday afternoon at 4:21 p.m., Flack was taken to the main jail to be booked in on suspicion of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony. Frank and I went back to the office and talked with Captain Shy. We told him what had happened, and we reviewed the progress we'd made in attempting to apprehend the leaders of the narcotic ring. After talking over all the possibilities, it was decided that the only way we had of getting to the higher-ups in the operation was for one of us to go underground. It was decided that I would act the part of a buyer from Northern California and try to make the contact with the members of the ring. I was given a quantity of marked bills and fictitious identification before I left the office. Frank and I worked out a method for communication, and I went home to change my clothes. I left all of my police identification there, and the next morning I began to be seen in the bars and restaurants where Walter Gilmer was known. For the first week, it went slow. The people involved were cautious of all newcomers. On Saturday, July 21st, I had breakfast, and then I walked over to a small place on East 7th Street.
Not open for business yet, Joe.
No problem. I had some time to kill. Thought I'd do it here if you got no beef.
No, sit down. Just getting the booze up from downstairs. Hey, you want something? A Coke, maybe?
Yeah. You got one that's cold?
Yeah. I could put a shot in it if you want.
No, it's all right. It's too early.
Boss don't like it if I pour before 10.
Mm-hmm. How's business?
Oh, not bad. Guess it's a little slow all over.
Yeah.
How's it going with you, Joe?
Slow?
How long you figure to be in town?
Only got a couple more days.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get back up north.
Never heard you say what you did.
I told you I'm a promoter.
You mean like prize fights?
No, anything I can make a buck on.
What are you working on now?
Well, I got a deal.
Yeah, I guess you'd rather I didn't get too nosy, huh?
Yeah, it might be better that way.
Mm-hmm. Word's out you're trying to make a buy.
What's that?
I say, word's out you're trying to make a buy.
That's so?
Yeah, that's what the word is.
Where's it from?
Around. No place you can point to, just around.
Anything on what I'm looking for?
I understand it's H.
Is that what you think?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what the word is.
Uh-huh.
I understand you're a good friend of Walt Gilmer.
Yeah, I know him. We didn't live together. I knew him.
Rough thing about Walt.
Yeah, yes it is.
Did you ever find out what killed him?
I don't know. I don't read the papers much. Was it in the papers?
Yeah. Rumble is he got some bad stuff.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Well, might be. I told you. I don't know.
Well, I guess if you're a friend of his, you'd like to talk to his connection, huh?
Well, it doesn't make any difference to me one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. You ain't sore about Walt then, huh?
I told you I knew him. I didn't know him good. Just enough to say hello. That's all.
Hmm. Yeah, rough the way he went.
Call it your way. Well, I'll see you around, Al.
Hey, you gotta leave, huh?
Told you, I only got a couple more days in town. I gotta line something up before I go back.
Well, maybe I can give you a hand.
Yeah?
Depends on what you're after. I got a lot of friends around. Might be able to do you some good.
Now, how are you going to work that?
How much you want to buy?
What's that?
Come off it, Joe. We got the rumble on you. You're down here from Sacramento. You're here to make a buy. It's a simple question. How much you want to take back with you?
If I wanted to make a connection, you the guy I'm supposed to see? If I wanted to make a connection.
Might work out that way.
You holding now?
A little.
How big?
Enough to handle your action.
I want a couple ounces.
It's a lot of stuff.
I don't sell cut rate. Now, you holding that much, or aren't you?
No, I can line it up for you.
Where do you take your piece?
Off the top. I make the deal for you.
Oh, no. No go.
Huh?
I don't know how you work things here, but I only do business with a gun.
Yeah, well, this one don't work that way.
Well, then let's forget the whole thing.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold it, Joe.
Yeah.
You got the cash?
I can get it.
Maybe it'll work out. I'll have to see.
I deal with the gun or the buy's off?
I'll check it.
Is it good stuff?
Best we got to offer.
That's not much of an answer, is it?
It's good.
When will you know? When will you know?
Well, we'll wait here. I'll make a phone call.
All right.
This is Al. Yeah, I know, but this is important. Got a guy here who wants to buy a couple of shirts. All large size. Uh-huh. As far as we know, he is. I talked to you about him. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. No, he says he won't buy them from anybody else. Yeah, that's what I told him. He says he's got it. Just a minute, I'll check. You be here about 7 tonight?
Huh?
You be here tonight about 7?
Well, we can make the deal, sure.
Yeah, he can make it. All right. Yeah, I know. I told you we checked. He's all right. Uh-huh. Yeah, right. Goodbye. Deal's made.
All right.
Be here at 7. Make it sharp, huh?
Okay.
You meet the boss.
I got in touch with Frank, and I filled him in on what had happened. For the first time in several months, it appeared as if we had a concrete lead to the operators of the dope ring. It was arranged to keep the bar under surveillance, but not to take anybody into custody until a buy had been made. I went back to the room I was renting, and I waited. I left at 5:30, had something to eat, and at 5 minutes to 7, I walked into the bar. The place was crowded. There wasn't an empty stool, and most of the booths were taken. I edged up to the bar and caught the bartender's attention.
Hiya, Joe. You're early.
No, you said 7 sharp.
Yeah.
We gonna do business?
Wait till I get out from behind the bar. Yeah. Back here, Joe. Yeah, here it is.
You're joking, aren't you?
No, Joe, this is the boss.
Well, I had it figured a little different.
Yeah, everybody does.
The woman
sitting in the booth was in her late 30s or early 40s. It was hard to tell. She had dark hair and blue eyes. The suit she was wearing was gray, and it looked expensive. After the bartender introduced us, she told him to bring a drink, and then she motioned me to sit down.
Your name's Joe Frizee, is that right?
Yeah.
Al tells me you want some action.
Well, he gave you the story.
How do I know you're a legitimate dealer?
You don't.
Still, you want me to go out on a limb and turn over 2 ounces of heroin to you?
I'm willing to pay for it, lady.
Where's it going to go?
Up north.
A lot of ground.
Sacramento.
You got the route to get rid of it?
They're waiting for it now.
Go in, and I should tell you I haven't got 2 ounces.
Well, and I'm wasting my time.
But I can get it.
How soon?
Sit down.
All right.
How quick do you need it?
I want to leave town in a couple of days. I told Al.
You working alone?
I don't see how that figures in the price.
You're wrong.
What?
Case we've got goes for $4.50 an ounce.
It's pretty high.
The best we can get.
Should be.
If you want to make a deal, the price comes down.
No, I can't swing more than 2 ounces.
Even if the price was dropped?
How much?
To $3.50.
No, it doesn't fit. What's the angle?
If you're on your own, it must get a little tiresome to have to carry the load by yourself.
Maybe.
I was thinking that maybe you'd like a partner.
You?
That's what I had in mind.
No go.
Why?
Oh, a lot of reasons. Mainly because I don't need anybody.
Then it's going to cost you $4.50.
Well, I figured that going in.
When do you want the stuff?
Tomorrow night will do.
It'll have to be late. We got it coming in then.
From where?
The price doesn't include that.
Okay. Where do I pick the H up?
Alf will call you. He'll give you the time and the place.
Well, if it's high grade, I might want some more.
You can pay our price. You'll get it.
It's all right.
You're making a big mistake, Joe.
That's all?
Yeah. I got L.A. sewed up good and tight. Good distribution. All the product I need. You got the North. We put them together. We could both come out real well.
No, I told you before. I don't need partners.
You might be wrong, Joe.
What?
You might already have one.
I stopped by the bar and gave the bartender my phone number. He said he'd call me as soon as he had any information. I left the place and walked over to 5th Street. At a corner restaurant, I put in a call to Frank, and I filled him in on what had happened. It was set up that he and Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli would keep me under surveillance all the following day. In the meantime, the woman, Dolores Page, would be watched also. I went back to the hotel where I was staying and went to bed. At 3:30 a.m., the phone rang, and the bartender, Alf, told me to get dressed and meet him in front of the hotel right away. He said we were leaving town immediately to make the narcotics buy. I tried to call Frank and fill him in on what had happened, but I couldn't reach him. I got in touch with the office and left word regarding the meet, and then went downstairs to wait for Alf. At 3:45 a.m., Alf drove up to the entrance. I tried to stall as long as possible to give the men from the office time to get there, but finally we left the hotel before they arrived. In the car with Alf and myself were a man who introduced himself as Earl and the woman, Dolores Page. We drove down to the beach and turned south on Highway 101. We continued down to San Diego. At 6:30 a.m., we checked into a small hotel, and Alf, along with Earl, left to make the meet and the buy. I tried to find out where they were going, but they refused to give me any information. Dolores Page and I waited for him to come back. I was unable to contact the San Diego authorities, telling them what to watch out for. Apparently, I'd lost contact with Frank and Lucarelli. The only hope now was that someplace along the line, the Page woman and her associates would make some kind of a mistake. We waited at the hotel until 12:15 when Alf and Earl returned.
Where's Earl?
Downstairs in the car.
How come you're so late?
He got hung up on the other side of National City. Customs inspection. Went through the car.
Find anything?
No, but there's something wrong about the whole deal.
What do you mean?
Looked like they were waiting for us, like somebody had tipped them off we were coming through.
What makes you think that?
The way they acted. Other cars they just looked over. Ours, they went all the way through, took the seats out, checked the tires, even climbed underneath. I tell you, somebody tipped them off. They were waiting.
Anything wrong with this? I want no part of it. You understand that?
We've been working it a long time without no hitch. All of a sudden, you come along, we got trouble.
What are you trying to build?
Just that it's funny it had happened now, first time you're here.
Are you trying to say that I got something to do with the shakedown?
If it fits, wear it.
Now, you listen, you two-bit punk. I got more to lose than you have. I'm paying top price for this product. I got customers waiting now. You come breezing in here and try to lay one of your own mistakes on me, and I'll break your back.
You talk like a man 12 feet tall.
I don't have to be that big.
All right,
you.
knock it off. You two beefing isn't going to do any good. They didn't find anything. You got no call to figure it was a tip, Alf. No reason at all. Now, let's get out of here.
Tell your boy to get off my back.
Don't worry about it. There won't be any more trouble.
Better not be. Because I'll spell it out for you.
Is that right?
There is, and I'm going to cause it.
The three of us went downstairs and got into the car.
We started the drive back to Los Angeles. From what I could find out, the narcotics buy had been made in Mexico, but the heroin was not in the car we were driving. We continued up the coast. Just south of Oceanside, California, we began to follow a large bus. As we drove, I noticed that Alf was being careful to keep the vehicle in sight. At San Clemente, the bus pulled into a small roadside restaurant for a rest stop. We parked immediately in back of it. Alf got out of the car and approached the bus. He walked up to the rear of the vehicle, reached under the rear bumper, and removed a small package wrapped in waterproof material. He checked the contents, and then he walked back to the car.
Get it?
Yeah, right where we put the stuff.
Get in. Let me have it.
Yeah.
There it is, Joe. Got the money?
You want to wrap it up right here?
No reason not to.
Why don't we wait till we get back to town? It'll be easier there.
You got any special reason to wait?
No.
Got the money?
Yep.
Then why wait?
Well, let me see what I'm buying.
Here.
Yeah, it looks all right.
The best we can buy. You don't have to taste it.
What are you trying to pull?
What?
What are you trying to sell me? This stuff's no good. You're not going to stick me $4.50 for this junk?
You made the deal.
And I'm leaving it. I want no part of it.
It's a little late to come up with that.
You haven't been paid yet.
We will be. Get out of the car.
Leave him alone, Alf.
We've done it your way all along. It hasn't worked out. From here in, I'm going to call it.
You're doing it wrong, Alf.
You let me worry about that. Get out, mister. Go on.
Well, where to?
Let's take a walk around the back of the buildings. Go ahead.
Figure to kill me and come up with the money, too. Is that it?
Keep walking.
You know you're not going to get away with it, don't you?
You keep buying those fairy tales.
Maybe we can make a deal, Alf.
Yeah?
If you get the money, it doesn't make any difference about me, does it?
What do you mean?
Now, wait a minute. Suppose I give you the money. You got it clean. You don't have to roust me then, do you?
Maybe I'll like shoving you around. I never did figure you on our side.
Why?
Because you knew Walt Gilmer.
What happened to him doesn't make any difference to me.
It don't read good, Joe. Right from the beginning, I didn't figure you.
What do you mean? You set the deal up, didn't you?
Looked like some fast change. I didn't count on this much McGill. It's not worth it.
All this talk about Walt, what's he got to do with it?
He was working with us, pushing. Got too wise. Thought he could do it without us.
So you gave him a connection with Bad H, is that it?
That's it.
You kill me and Dolores isn't going to like it. You know that, don't you?
The wheel just passed out of her hands. Come on, let's get it over with.
All right. Where to?
Back there.
What are you trying to prove? All right, come on now. Stop the gun.
Joe, you all right?
Yeah.
We've been right behind you since you left Dago.
Yeah? How'd you work that?
Well, I got the message you left at the office. We had a tail on the page woman. Picked you up down south.
How about her and that other fellow back there?
Roxy's got him.
Let me have your handcuffs, will you?
Yeah, here. Bartender?
Yeah. He copped out to giving Walt Gilmer the bad junk.
Huh. That takes care of it then, huh?
Yeah, come on, let's get him to the car. All right. Come on, get up. Well, I'm glad this one's over.
Yeah. Well, you don't look any the worse for wear.
All right.
Sure. You didn't really have anything to worry about.
Is that right?
Well, sure. You don't mind me telling you that, do you?
It's a good thing you weren't 2 minutes later.
Huh?
I might not have heard you.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
Dolores Marie Page and Alfred Giles Harnett were tried and convicted of murder in the first degree. David Alcott Flack was tried and convicted of using narcotics, and Earl Tyler Rockland was tried and convicted of possession of narcotics. They all received sentence as prescribed by law. Murder in the first degree is punishable by life imprisonment in the state penitentiary. Possession of narcotics, first offense, is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for a period of not more than 1 year. Using narcotics is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for a period of not more than 1 year.
Dragnet. The story of your police force in action is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.